anybody down or out anymore. The best thing you can do is slow them up a little bit, and that's what they hope to get here today from both sides.
And the Vikings are a much improved, tougher defensive club than a year ago, so they might give Bartkowski a tough afternoon. How about on the other side now? Looking at no team can spread you around the way the Vikings can with Kramer, really.
The Vikings could come up with some great defensive efforts. They did it against San Francisco about 3 or 4 weeks ago. They've got an injury. Buddy Curry is out. Jim Laughlin will take his place. That could be a problem. Lehman Bennett says this team needs a big play to start this game. They're probably going to go upstairs and work on the cornerbacks early. Bud Grant says that the only thing he worries about are the things that he shouldn't worry about, the things he has no control over. Let's get after it now. Tom Brookshire, and it'll be the Vikings and the Falcons.
Okay, you're right. Lehman Bennett's team won the first thing of the afternoon, but that's just a toss. It'll be Luckhurst. Nick Luckhurst is kicking off. And Nelson, the number 1 draft out of Stanford, the intelligent one, will receive. Ooh, this is a good deep kick. It's going to be Nelson, 5 yards deep. It'll touchdown. And the Viking offense, and they'll have them all over the field, spread out on offense, gets the first shot. Tommy Kramer, with his best percentage, by the way, ever. Teddy Brown, I think, underrated. Galbraith, a good, solid guy and a good pass receiver. Sammy White is back after his week off with the knee, and Sammy McCullum is back, replacing, of course, Ahmad Rashad. Riley, Huff, Swilly, Hamilton, Urban, very solid, very good pass blockers. And the tight end, Joe Sensor, looks like he's gotten rid of his nicks and bruises, too. This is a good offensive ball club. The Falcons are in that 34 defense of theirs. Man in motion was Brown. Kramer being knocked around. Wow, the Falcons got big pressure, and Smith, I think the nose tackle, put it on. Defensively, that's the lineup right there. Jeff Yates, Don Smith, and Jeff Merle. They all three play like nose tackles. Richardson, Kuykendall, Laughlin, who's in for Buddy Curry, and Joel Williams, the pass rusher. Butler and Johnson, boy, it's going to be tough playing the corners. Blaisbrook and Pridemore, the veteran safeties. Second down. Handoff, Galbraith. Good tackle back at the 18-yard line by number 51. That's Laughlin, the Ohio Stater. Trouble with our headsets, Wayne, so here's that temperature. Inside, as I said, it was 67 a moment ago. They must have turned the thermostat up. Outside, it's 28. This is some ballpark compared to the old stadium out in Bloomington. Third down, and call it 11. Shotgun with Kramer. That's Sensor in motion. A good pass. Sammy White can't get to it at the 35. Closely covered by Laughlin. Blaisbrook was there, too. And it looked like the Vikings were a little tentative.
Jerry Glanville told me before the game that he was going to show Minnesota things they hadn't seen yet on film from Atlanta.
Here's Coleman kicking. Now he fumbles it. Coleman, he gets it blocked. Jeff Seaman is near it. Atlanta's got a touchdown. Coleman somehow got the punt off. It was blocked twice. That's some way to start out the playoffs. Doug Rogers, the rookie, their first defensive draft choice. He did a high five, and he must weigh 265. I think Davis, number 59, actually blocked it. Coleman had two shots at it. They're not going to give them. Yeah, they are going to. They didn't call it anything but the block. They're just going to take the extra point now. A lot of people have scored against the Vikings on returns and with special teams. This is Luckhurst. Moravsky, the backup quarterback, is holding. What a shot. 7-0. One offensive series by the Vikings. And Bartkowski's team hasn't even come out and taken a snap yet.
Coleman Coleman was in trouble right from the start here on the punt. Looked like he might have a chance to run it out right here. Decided to kick it. Naturally didn't have time enough. Paul Davis coming in from linebacker got a hand on it. Jeff Seaman, number 50, looked like he might have a shot, but didn't really see the football. It's bouncing around in the end zone. Finally, Rogers, the big defensive tackle, the rookie from Stanford, is on it, and suddenly Atlanta leaves by a score of 7-0.
Lightning came through the roof. What a shot with 13:51 left. You now see Peyton waiting for Luckhurst's kickoff. This is at the 4.5-yard line. That's Gary Nelson. Nelson gets out to the 34-yard line. Paul Davis made the tackle. Good run back by the number 1 draft.
Won't find anybody in the National Football League any quicker than number 20, Darren Nelson, the first running back selected last year, and he was selected by the Vikings. Extremely quick, All-American from Stanford.
That was Coleman's first punt block of the year. We're looking to see if he's got more than that.
There's no problem. He just had problems handling the snap, and then he was in white water right from there, and you see the block by Davis, and the ball bounces around, and a quick and easy 7 for Atlanta, the big play that Lehman Bennett talked about.
The first punt block for Coleman in his career. Inside drive to Teddy Brown. Brown out to the 36-yard line.
I want to reiterate what I said earlier, Tom, since we were having problems with the microphone, but Jerry Glanville, the Atlanta defensive coordinator, told me that Tommy Kramer is a very brilliant young quarterback. He's a good reader of films. He studies. He said, so what we're going to do to him today, we're not going to show him anything that he's looked at on film. Everything we do on defense today will be different than we've done the last 3 weeks. He said, we did the same thing against Joe Montana and the 49ers 3 weeks ago, and it worked. We're going to try it today against number 9.
That was the best game they played, was 2 weeks ago against San Francisco. Here's Kramer back. He's got a lot of time this time. Dumps it to Sensor. The tight end takes it for a first down to the 46. Laughlin and Williams make the tackle there, but Kramer and Sensor won that one.
They spread the whole field out on you. They use 52 yards across on every play. The Minnesota Vikings spread out your defense. They hit the short passes, and if you miss a tackle, it turns into a big gainer.
Remember the last time he played against Atlanta, he had over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, and also 4 interceptions. So Kramer is not shy in the least bit. The young man from Rice. Nelson is in there. Number 20. Inside handoff, Brown. Brown gets into Atlanta territory to the 49. Kuykendall stopped him there.
You'll see as the game progresses that the theory for Minnesota will be to get the ball to Ted Brown as often as possible, whether they hand it off to him or throw the ball to him, much the same way as Atlanta will do with William Andrews.
Of course, Brown averages 4.3 a shot, and I've always felt with some people, if he was given the ball a lot, he might be one of the top rushers in all of football.
Was over 1,000 last year.
Second down and call it 5. Boy, Smith is up close at nose tackle. Quick drop by Kramer. To Sensor. Good defensive play. Glazebrook, the safety, read it perfectly.
Glazebrook and Pridemore, the 2 safeties you see there from Atlanta, perhaps the best tackling of any secondary men in the National Football League. You saw a good reason right here. Sensor comes across, and he's a big, strong guy. Glazebrook, he seemed slip out, number 81, faked the block, slipped out. Glazebrook made the read, come up, and didn't give Sensor an inch upfield.
Good defensive play by the safety man. And Sensor is tall, he's 6'5". All right, third down and 2. You've got Ricky Young and Ted Brown in the backfield. Young is out in the pattern. A dump for Sensor, has it and drops it. No good. Richardson there to make sure. I wonder if that was a planned escape route by Kramer. Looked like he almost did it on cue, didn't he?
Well, he did. He got back, straight drop back action that time and had nothing open downfield. So he rolled out, kind of scrambled a bit, looked downfield, got a second look, and there still wasn't much there.
This will be Coleman's second punt, or first if you want to forget the one that was blocked. After you blocked one, you know, the special team for the Vikings, they're making sure they're counting people off this time. Here's Coleman's kick. It's a good kick. Away from Billy White Shoes Johnson. Oh, what a kick. three. Out. There's the lineup. Bartkowski throwing his best percentage year since he's been in since 75. William Andrews. Boy, what a running and catching back he is. Lynn Kane, Alfred Jackson, Alfred Jenkins. Two dangerous people. Ken, Howell, Van Note, Thielman, Bryant, and Keith Presley in place of Junior Miller. Bartkowski's handoff to Andrews. Andrews to the 9-yard line. Tommy Henner had to make the tackle there. That set the defense. As we said, it's much more aggressive than it used to be. Doug Martin, who has 11.5 sacks. Charlie Johnson, obtained from Philadelphia, knows. And Mark Mullaney played the right side, the weak side. Linebackers, Blair, Studwell, Johnson, and Fred McNeil. A good group. Swain and Teal at the corners, and Hannon at the safety spot, along with Turner. Andrews out over the 10, pretty good defensive charge.
Because of the field position, of course, Atlanta has started out with double tight ends, trying to punch it out and get some room for Bartkowski and the offense to work with. It worked the first time with Andrews, but a good play down the line that time by the right side of the Minnesota defense, in particular McNeil.
Are you surprised how small he is in street clothes to play as big as he does?
You're talking about William Andrews, I'm sure, yeah. He's like a hand grenade when you get hold of him.
Third down and 2. Andrews, handoff. It's going to be close to the first down. It'll be very, very close. Matt Blair and Hannon were both there. Looked like Andrews might have been stumbling when he took the handoff.
Berkey just didn't have a lot of room. There wasn't a whole lot there. The Minnesota defense played it well up front, and they have stopped Atlanta. They're going to end up with good field position off this.
Roberts will be in, the left footer, to punt from the end zone.
They're going to measure it.
Okay.
The Atlanta outfit doesn't believe it. They want to take a look at it. Minnesota's already got their punt return unit on the field.
Wow. By 2 inches, Colin. Vikings must have a lot of carrot juice running through the stadium. Roberts, the left footer, back in the end zone. James, of course, their perennial punter, was dropped in preseason. Rufus Bass is back to accept this, number 21. From the end zone now, you're right behind Roberts. He's a left footer, and the ball will come down with plenty spin. It's a low driving kick. Rufus Bass at the 35. Bass breaks through. Staying to the sidelines. And knocked out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Henry Johnson got some good block. Number 53 for Rufus Bass. Roberts, the punter, made the tackle.
Rufus Best turned on the Jets after he received that ball up the middle. A flag down. Now there are a couple of flags down on the field right at the present time, and they're sorting them out. Take a look now. Here's the punt. Rufus Best, number 21, will take it. Backpedaling. That makes it double tough. Up the middle, and he really turned on the speed right here. Number 53, Johnson, gets out in front and makes a block right there to get him a few more yards.
They're calling for an illegal block on the run back. Now, the punter, Roberts, was knocked down, but it was by a player that had been blocked into him, so there was no foul on the punt itself, even though he was knocked down. Howard, illegal blocking on a great run back by Rufus Bess. Boy, I'll tell you, it's like TNT in here today. Tom Brookshire with Wayne Walker in the Metrodome in Minneapolis, 62,000 plus. 7-0 Atlanta lead on a block punt. The first time Coleman put his foot to it. Early in this game, the first minute. Here's Ted Brown, a lot of running room. Brown gets to the 47-yard line. A misdirection play that worked. Let's go to Brent Musburger in New York City now and find out how Big D is doing.
Doug Williams of the Buckets expecting the pass, and they've dropped off the 5 defensive backs. It's a tip ball. Dexter Clinkscale with the interception. The Cowboys are on the move. Let's go back now to Tom Brookshire.
Boy, the good teams get hot with that defense, Brent. You're absolutely right. Some strange plays. Here's a misdirection again. This time it's Galbraith. Not much at all as Tony gets stacked up. Didn't you appreciate what they were saying about Smith, the big nose tackle for Atlanta, that he plays very close and he's a hulk and very strong and about half mean is what Murrow said about him.
Yes, and Dennis Swilley, who's playing across from him, the Minnesota center, has a lot of respect for number 65. He says he gets closer to you than any nose tackle in the league, and you'll take a look at it. We'll get a shot of that for you somewhere down the line. He'll get right up on top of the center, and the minute the ball snapped, he's on him with his hands and underneath him. Very, very strong.
Figure.
Yeah, and hates to play nose tackle. Would give anything to get out and play defensive end, I think.
Red Cashin, the referees gave you the notice. It's, well, call it a couple of inches. I've never seen such close measurements. Atlanta just missed one by a couple of inches themselves. One more down to do it in. What do you think Kramer will do? Load up the rifle?
I think you just hand it to somebody here, Brookie.
Inches. It's a good thing.
One thing you can be guaranteed of, when Atlanta and Minnesota get on any football field, they're going to see some good hitting.
The old Metropolitan football combination stadium in Bloomington only held 48,000 people. The 62,000 plus here, and they sold 48,000 tickets, by the way, in 2 days to get ready for this playoff game.
Well, they were really excited by that win over Dallas on Monday night that got them the home field advantage.
Brown is leaving. Derry Nelson is now in the game, and that's Sam White in motion. Kramer throwing back to Nelson. Nelson, oh, is he quick? Good tackle by number 58, Joe Williams.
But Laughlin, 51, playing in there for Buddy Curry, and there's a flag down on this, made an excellent play. He saw it first, got up there, and forced Nelson back inside.
Looked like nobody took the bait. They were trying to get sort of a quick screen, weren't they? There's Kuykendall. He used to be called Captain Crunch. The short season helped him, though, because he's still very healthy for this season, isn't he?
Well, he plays so all-out, Brookie, that he kind of destroys his own body in the course of a 16-game season, and this short season has helped him. He's healthy right now and perhaps playing the best football of his career.
Let's see what Red Cashin comes up with. We will identify the Zebras in just a moment.
Illegal use of the hands. Number 61 on the offense. It's still first down.
Number 61. All right, well, Red Cashin, Frank Sigovich, LaCourie Haggerty, Bama Glass, my old teammate Ben Tompkins, Nate Jones, Bob Workman, and Ed Fippick. That's a lot of them, almost like the starting lineups. First down and 20. There's Galbraith, Tony Galbraith, pulling almost to the 45 with real good extra effort. Richardson stopping him there. How do you call holding on one person on the line of scrimmage when everybody is playing the rules right to the hilt?
Well, it's pretty tough. I guess they just get the hands out too far. Is about the only way you can call it now.
Second and 16 for the Vikings at their 44.
Nobody throws the ball probably more than the Viking offense. 58% of the time. Only ran at 42%. They claim that's the offense of the 80s. Here's Kramer on the run and drops it. That's Sam McCullum. Sam McCullum to the 42-yard line of Atlanta. That's
the extra dimension you get when you got a quarterback that can move. Very resourceful Tommy Kramer made that play. He dropped back in the pocket. Nothing was there. He was getting heat. He scrambled around until people came open and got him the football.
And of course, McCullum, he joined the team and finally got to play against Detroit. That's when he made his debut, really.
Out of the shotgun here. Merrill was giving him some pressure. He got McCullum, threw it on the run. Under the linebackers right now, picks up a couple blocks and turns it into a good gain. It's third now and about 3.
That's when you're fortunate, when you lose an Ahmad Rashad, and you pick up former player Sam McCullum. Third down and 3, let's call it. LeCount starting to come in motion. The timeout has been called on Minnesota as Kramer wants to get things settled down. Boy, the noise is at a very high level in this beautiful new $55 million ballpark. Incredible. 7-zip early. There's Ted Brown getting some treatment, or at least being investigated. The shoulder was hurt, what, a couple of weeks ago?
In the Dallas game, Tom, a little shoulder bruise. What they've done now, they just took the shoulder pads on him and put some sponge back underneath his T-shirt for a little added protection. He'll get the pads back on, and we'll see him.
Third down and 3. We got 6:40 left in the first quarter. That's Cintra in motion through the shotgun. Kramer. Boy, getting some rush, and now he's being dropped and throws it out of bounds, but the Atlanta down 3 linemen really put on the hustle. As big Jeff Yates, the Boston College guy, that's known as Flea Dog.
That's Flea Dog and Bone Marrow both. Watch number 75, Marrow, over to the left of your screen. Working against Steve Riley. He gets the big rush right here that flushes Kramer out. Smith right there with a dive. Merrill keeps coming, but watch again, we talked about resourcefulness. Saved himself a sack with those kinds of moves.
Flea Dog and Bone, those are 2 great defensive lineman nicknames. There he is, the big guy from Boston College. Coleman's back for his 3rd punt. He's aiming for the sideline. He had a great one a minute ago. Billy Whiteshoe Johnson takes it on the run after the fair catch. And the Falcons will put it in play at the 17-yard line. Everything's simmering. Put things on the back burner. I think we got one going. There's the 82 season. And of course, now we're bleeding over into 83. Beat the Giants. Lost to the Raiders. Everybody almost did.
It was amazing what Joe Theismann said yesterday. He said it didn't feel like a playoff game for him because it was only their 10th game of the year. I wonder if a lot of them are feeling that way.
It's true. Atlanta, those coming in off 2 bad losses. One to Green Bay and one to New Orleans. They need this one badly. Bartkowski back in the pocket. Has time. Outside pattern. It's no good. Incomplete. Intended for Alfred Jackson. Those AFC games, you can see that Bartkowski's slow getting up. The Jets bombed last year's Super Bowl entrant from the AFC, 44-17. And San Diego just eased by Terry Bradshaw and the Steelers. Dallas 3-0 now. That's a field goal, a 35-yarder by Septien. And we thought that was going to be a blowout. I'm not saying which way. Bartkowski is not as nifty as Kramer, but I'll tell you, he can air it out. He's a great thrower. Back to number 21, Len Kane. Barely gets the line of scrimmage. Studwell making the tackle. Let's go to New York City and Brent Musburger right now for an NFL update.
Tom, the big day against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Raphael Septien with a 33-yard field goal, 3-0. Let's go back now to Tom and Wayne in Minneapolis.
A little action down there. The only score Lehman Bennett's worried about is the one his defensive special team put up on the block punt. Bartkowski, 3rd down and 8. Good throwing. Just off Andrews' hand.
Bartkowski right with good protection. It was a good throw that was just off the fingertips of Andrews coming out of the backfield. Here's Bartkowski. You see plenty of time. Andrews is out. Nothing downfield. Just off his fingertips. And then look out.
Last year he caught 81 passes. We're talking about Andrews. Here's George Roberts kicking. It's a low kick. This is going to be run back by Rufus Bess. into Atlanta territory by a couple of yards. And the Viking offense comes back on the field. I don't see a yellow flag. It's almost the first time on a punt in a month where I haven't seen a penalty call.
45-yard kick, but Rufus Best got a lot of that back with another good return.
Ted Brown won't be in there. That means that the #1 draft choice will be doing a lot of playing today with Ted Brown out.
He just got in, though, Brookie.
Okay,
I think they sent him in.
He's got that shoulder strapped up, so we'll watch it closely. 1st and 10 on the 48. That's Galbraith in motion. Kramer got going for Sammy White. Interference is called. Interference is called on Tom Pridemore.
Defensive pass interference. Number 27, first down.
The interference call was on Tommy Pridemore. Flag was dropped. This is Ted Brown getting to the 20 and inside as Kuykendall makes the stop there. Big defensive play as Pridemore hit Sammy White early on the post pattern, and the ball was right on target. It's a good thing he probably did.
White would have made that catch, so they really didn't lose anything off it as you look at Kuykendall in the middle of that Atlanta defensive huddle.
Nelson's had the small injury so far. The young man from Stanford, he had a bad ankle for a while, and they say he'll be perfect for an indoor artificial surface, won't he?
Well, he's ready now, and he's in the ball game. They'll figure out ways to get the football to him also.
Brown and Nelson together in the backfield. That's Nelson. Handoff, Ted Brown behind it. Good block by Nelson. Good block by the rookie from Stanford, and Ted Brown picks up about 4 yards. Williams stopped him.
What that does, really, Brookie, that crosses up the defense. When you get both Brown and Darren Nelson in the same backfield, you don't expect them to run because they have to use Darren Nelson as a lead blocker. But he did a good job that time.
We'll welcome all you people that have been watching the Dallas-Tampa Bay contest down at Texas Stadium. This is Tom Brookshire with Wayne Walker. We're in the Metrodome in Minneapolis. And the opening punt by Coleman from Minnesota was blocked, and the Falcons got it for a touchdown, and the Vikings are now driving with Tommy Kramer at the controls. He's the quarterback. 3rd down, call it 3. Kramer's got a lot of time. Ricky Young, number 34, just found this little place against the zone.
And it depends where they spot it. It looks like it's a Minnesota first down. You can tell by the reaction. Here it is. Ricky Young, who came flaring out of the backfield last Monday night against Dallas to win the ball game for Minnesota, ran just about the same kind of pattern. He ran a cutout right here. Kramer went to him when there was nothing downfield, and the Vikes have an important first down.
And even when he wasn't playing, he never gave up. He's a good team man, you know. 1st and 10. The Vikings can get a first down without a touchdown. Inside handoff. Brown inside the 10. Boy, this 62,000 plus. And they gobbled up those tickets. In 2 days, 48,000 tickets. And since last Monday night, they have not stopped cheering.
Tom, Minnesota now inside the 10-yard line, or the red zone, as a lot of teams call it now. And historically over the years, and especially when I played against Bud Grant teams, I used to know that when they get inside the 10, 8 times out of 10, they'll get in the end zone. And they always have a couple, 3 plays down here that work and work well. Let's see what they come up with.
Tommy Kramer. Inside drive. Ted Brown makes a little cut, gets squiggles to the 5-yard line as Don Smith met him right at the pass. Remember that Buddy Curry, the outstanding young inside linebacker who was sort of the a defensive coach on the field is not playing, and Laughlin, the Ohio Stater that you see, is.
As we talked with Curry before the game, he said, you watch, Wayne. He said, you watch. Number 51, Laughlin, will play a good game this afternoon.
That Dallas score, a 33-yarder by Septien. And Tampa Bay continues to stay within a touchdown at least. But right here, the Vikings are trying to get back even. This is third down and call it 4. A lot of time. Kramer outside. Sammy White can't get it. Quarterback might have wasted that one to make sure that they get a shot for points.
White had just about a step on Bobby Butler, but it would have taken a perfect throw. And if it was off target a little bit and Butler would have got his hands on it, he could have gone about 103 yards for a touchdown. So they saved it for the field goal attempt.
Rick Danmeyer is in now. Steve Dills is holding the backup quarterback. This will be from the 14, so you're talking about a 24-yard field goal attempt. Well, it looks awfully good. The crowd will tell you there's the flag down. There is the flag down.
There's a flag on the play.
Holding on the special teams, the field goal kicking team for Minnesota. There's always this worried right out of his mind, isn't he? Bud Grant, the head coach here for 16 seasons.
Holding during the kick. Number 50 of the offense. It's still fourth down.
That was on Jeff Seaman, the former great middle linebacker here for many years in Minnesota, who is a wingback blocking on the right side.
Danmeyer's kick now from the 24, so it's a 34-yard attempt. That's a nice solid 5-iron. Red Cashin makes the signal, and the Vikings get on the board, but they still do not have it tied up. A block punt gave the Atlanta Falcons first blood. Now they'll, of course, kick off. Falcons will get a chance to put their offense back on the field. Actually, both offenses have been a little bit walking on eggs.
Really haven't tried much, have they? I was surprised just that last drive when Minnesota got down there that they ran the ball twice and ran on first and second down, waited until third down to throw it against Atlanta. When we talked to Lehman Bennett yesterday, he said we're going to open up our offense a little bit in this game, but they haven't done that yet because they haven't had field position to do it with. So they'll need a good return here, and if they get out around the 30, I think you'll see them go deep, especially on the Minnesota corners.
Just like those old submarine guys, run silent, run deep, huh? Exactly. The run back man, number 46, is back for Atlanta now. He'll be the run back fella. Reggie Brown. And, of course, Danmeyer, the former offensive lineman from Sioux City College, or Sioux Falls College, in Sioux City, I'm sure. He almost kicked our cameraman around that was trying to do the pregame insert with us. Very steady, straightaway kicker. He and Mosley. And then everybody else kicks around the corner. From the end zone, Danmeyer's kick. Tried to kick it away from Reggie Brown. Reggie Brown fumbles it out of bounds. Field position again is not too good for the Falcons.
Minnesota has done that historically, Brookie. They had Fred Cox up here for years.
That's Johnny Michaels, the offensive line coach, who has thrown his cap and argued with the official.
They like to kick the ball in the corner on kickoffs. Cox could do it. He worked it to an art. Danmeyer's got it perfected here. He pinned that one in the corner, and then it was fumbled out of bounds.
Some argument between the officials and the Minnesota bench. It's 1st and 10 on the 12. Barkowski back to Lane Kane. Kane out over the 20. Boy, good-looking run to the 24-yard line. Charlie Johnson had to come from the nose to pull him down. Lynn Kane can play. Let's go to New York City and Brent Musburger.
Rookie, the Cowboys now lead at 6. 3-yard field goal by Raphael Septien against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Brookie, the Cowboys are dominating this game. Let's go back now to Tom and Wayne in Minneapolis.
Okay, Brent. There's a big difference between 6 points, though, and dominating. I'll tell you, that Tampa Bay offense could still get them on the board. Right here, we've got a 7-3 contest. Bartkowski. Oh, and knocked away from number 84. Tommy Hanna made the tackle, and Jenkins could not hang on. Alfred Jenkins is still down. Now he's getting up.
Jenkins, not the biggest guy in the world, 172 pounds. Bartkowski with a lot of time here has Jenkins going over the middle, but he ran him right into Tommy Hanna, the strong safety and one of the best hitters back there in the Minnesota secondary.
Alfred Jenkins, who has the record really for most catches consecutively, right? 98?
98 games coming into this one, but Hanna brought him off number 99, but it wouldn't count anyway because it was a playoff game.
Correctly in motion. Handoff. Andrews out over the 30. He got legs like a Clydesdale. At 200 pounds, he's the strongest runner I think I've seen in a long time in this league.
A lot of people are saying around the National Football League right now, with due respect to the Dorsets and the Paytons and the Campbells and whoever you want to talk about, Billy Sims in Detroit at number 31 might be the best running back in the entire National Football League.
Harold Jackson is now in the game. That's William Andrews you see there. Number 31. A quick jump by James Duck White, number 72. Let's see if the Falcons caused it. Van Note says it wasn't us, or Scully, it's the center, excuse me. Takes a few series once in a while now from Jeff Van Note. Duck White said they moved. And Red Cashin said, Duck, you're wrong.
Scully and Van Note alternate some at center. Van Note is the starter, but Scully comes in and plays every third down. Van Note, of course, been around a long time, and they like to keep him rested, and plus they figure that Scully is their center of the future and going to be a real good one.
Number 72 on the defense, first down.
You know, playing Atlanta now, you wonder which team you're going to have to play against. When they're good, they're really very good. In fact, Dick Vermeil, the Eagles coach, told me they might have had the best personnel, he thought, in the entire NFC. First down and 10. Bartkowski takes it back to Lynn Kane. Kane gets a couple falling straight down on the carpet. Matt Blair touched him there. That's the last play of the first period. Wow, on the scoreboard with a block punt. The Falcon offense now might have it going. It's 7-3, Atlanta over Minnesota.
Sponsored by Honda. On a drive with engineering, quality, and value. Honda, we make it simple. And by the wine cellars of Ernest and Julio Gallo.
The music was in the mood. We're indoors, too, in Minnesota in the middle of January, and it's beautiful. First quarter stats, the Falcons haven't done much. Got a net yardage of 29 yards, but they got the block punt recovered by Doug Rogers for a touchdown, and that has held up through one quarter play, and Bartkowski's team leads 7-3. Gerald Riggs, the number 1 draft from Arizona State's in the game, along with Andrews. Bartkowski with a big rush on, going deep. Played beautifully and knocked away from Alfred Jenkins by Johnny Swain. There's a flag back here on the 32-yard line. Good coverage by Swain.
Excellent coverage. That's what we have been waiting for Atlanta to go deep. Obviously, Swain was also, because he was step for step down there and made a great defensive play.
Looked like there was some pressure from Bartkowski's right side, too.
Might have been some big pressure, enough to create that.
Still second down.
Scott, I believe, was detected, number 70, for holding. Second down and 20 to go. Bartkowski is 0 for 4 throwing the football. This year he was over a 60% completion man. 63%. Third down 8. Bartkowski decides to waste one as Alfred Jenkins went inside and the ball went outside.
That time, Minnesota on defense, they use a lot of zones, especially out in the field. But that time, they just single-covered everybody and put Matt Blair and William Andrews out in the flat when he filtered out, and Bartkowski just had no one open.
How about the way they flip-flop? Put Doug Martin at left end where he's more comfortable. He was there in college in Washington. And put Mulaney on the right defensive end. Then Charlie Johnson showed up to play nose. And they're very aggressive now on the line of scrimmage.
Martin, number 79 over there. Tied for the lead in sacks in the NFL.
Now they got the four-man pass rush in there now on 3rd down and 20. Bartkowski. He finds number 42, Gerald Riggs, short of the first down. Matt Blair made the tackle and really got hit hard. Riggs is a load at 230 pounds, 5'10 and a half.
And the fastest back on this team, faster than Andrews. Here's something you won't see Bartkowski do a lot of, but he was just fighting for his life this time. Initially, there wasn't much pressure. Then it broke down. People started to come. He rolled around, got a second look. Found Riggs, the big rookie from Arizona, and he got it down there, but just short of a first down.
Bartkowski's no Baryshnikov, but he moved around pretty well that time.
Adrenaline will do wonderful things for you.
Give you a Veronica or two, right? Here's Roberts, George Roberts, back to punt. Rufus Best is waiting. Rufus has been running back everything in sight. Best at the 17. Best back to the 14. Good coverage by Atlanta. Ray Strong down very quickly. 13:49 left before the halftime break. It's 7-3. I still think it's going to explode. I know it's hard for you to believe that Bud Grant's Minnesota Vikings are playing inside a building. But Bud Grant seems to like it. He says, young people have been used to playing on artificial surfaces, and now we're indoors. And he said, I'll adjust. He's a great coach. First down and 10. Tommy Kramer with the offense out there. The ball is right on the 18-yard line. Here's Kramer dashing to the right. Now he's going to run with it to the 21. Al Richardson sort of touching him down there. LeCount was trying to run a deep pattern, but was covered. Now, Kramer, you might recall, played for Rice down in Houston. And they won like 2 games in the whole time he was there. So he was like 3rd and 20 for his whole damn life, you know.
Always throwing down in Rice, but said that it's one of the reasons that when Tarkenton retired, they felt this guy could come right in and do the great job he has done because he's had experience throwing the football. Only his 4th year as starter, and Bud Grant says he's not one of the great ones yet, but he can be.
Boy, he's a good reader, though. You got to be very careful with him. 2nd down and 6. Brown in motion, straight handoff. Galbraith makes a great play in the hole and gets to the 25-yard line. Joel Williams stopped him there, but Tony made a real good move.
Kind of a sucker block on the nose tackle, Don Smith that time. Swilly, the center, it kind of looked like he was pass protecting, and Smith took him, got underneath him, and flew on back in the backfield with him, and the runner went right by him. Look at this.
That's tough in there, isn't it?
Not only is it tough, they try to trick you, too.
You know, Flea Dog Yates and Bone Marrow last night were telling us that nobody likes the Atlanta defensive players. They never get anybody in the Pro Bowl because nobody likes them. But they can play.
They put a lot of helmets on people.
3rd down 3. Kramer drops it off. Good catch by Sims at the 35. Good pass and good catch. Glazebrook couldn't keep Kramer from getting that ball in there.
That is a Viking first down.
That looks like the same old goat that used to be outside that was here.
I think it is.
He's got his horns all polished up.
Isn't it grown?
The catch by Sensor brought a big yell up. It's 1st and 10. I formation behind Kramer. Galbraith and Nelson. Toss back to Nelson. What a move. Look out. Nelson hit hard and dropped at the 49-yard line by Kenny Johnson. That's quick feet.
Throws it out a little while ago. A lot of people up here in Minnesota, a lot of the press has said, well, Riggs was available, Marcus Allen was available. This was the first back chosen in the draft by Minnesota. Everybody wondered why he'd been hurt, hadn't done much his rookie year. This will just show you what he can do. He's the quickest college football player I had ever seen.
He likes it. Number 20 picked up 14 yards. He does have the quick move. Darren Nelson from Stanford. First and 10, just outside of Atlanta territory. Everybody's out. Kramer going across the middle. Oh! McCollum had it. Almost picked off by Kenny Johnson. McCollum had it and then was almost intercepted. Flag on the play, down around the line of scrimmage or back in the pocket. Much maligned cornerbacks, Johnson and Butler for Atlanta. Well, I don't know how you play out there anymore. Can't touch anybody.
Holding number 66 on the offense. Still first down.
Big man from Texas. Irwin, the big fella from Tennessee, is out of there, and the Texas rookie is now in there, and got caught holding the first play almost. There's Tim Irwin, studying to be a lawyer. He might get my attention at 275. First down and 20. Deflected by Richardson, who was coming from this left outside linebacking spot.
They used the play that they ran earlier where they blocked Sensor for about a count, and then he filters out in the flat. Richardson coming in with some pressure, got a hand up and deflected the ball. We talked to Richardson last night. A quiet guy. They got him listed about 2'6", and he looked a lot bigger than that, didn't he, Tom? He looked like he was 215, but he's got good reaction. Let him get up in the air that time and knock that down. He had 7 interceptions when he was a rookie a few years ago, and then they switched him to the designated rusher last year, and he came up with 10 sacks.
Remember, he had the bad knee, the bionic knee, they call it?
Right.
He still plays with reckless abandon. Second down, 20. Shotgun. Kramer, wide open to Sammy White, down to the 36-yard line. What a catch. Drilled by Butler. What a catch by 85.
It looked just exactly like the pattern they ran to McCollum over on the other side that was off his hands and then off the hands of the defensive back. Watch Sammy White inside now, number 85. Beats the chuck right there, gets 5 yards downfield, working against the zone. Kramer sees him, and before Butler can react from the corner position to come over on the zone, you have the completion.
Big one down to the 37-yard line, Colin. Sammy White coming back from injuries. One of the most consistent. Little play action pass. Kramer get across the middle. Sammy White. White's going to score a touchdown. Danmar kicking the extra point now. Steve Dills is holding. 9:31 before halftime. It's 10-7.
A touchdown pass to Sammy White. Good protection. You saw Kramer flag like he was going short. This is actually a blown defensive coverage. No one back there in the middle. No one playing center field. White gets in the end zone. You can run right along with him right here. And you'll see there's no one around him.
The man that averages 50 catches a year, Sammy White. Boy, he lit up that scoreboard. It's 10-7. Kramer is 7 of 13 for 100 yards. Sammy White has 2 catches for 61 yards. Falcons. Here's that scoring drive. 7 plays, 82 yards. Vintage Sammy White, number 85. What a player out of Grambling. Never had the big speed. He had a big heart, had super hands, and runs the same pass pattern all the time.
And they held him out until he was healthy. He only was in for like 1 play last week.
The Falcons on first down have got to get their offense started. This is Riggs. The rookie gets to the line of scrimmage and draws some problems. Charlie Johnson coming out from the nose tackle. Charlie Johnson turned this Minnesota, a defensive group, into sort of a challenging type group. He slowed it down. He took the whole bunch out to dinner the first week he came from Philadelphia. And they said they knew he was a Pro Bowler and they knew he was great. And then he was a Viking.
Doug Martin, the youngster over at left defensive end, said that Charlie made him play hard. The rest of them play hard just to match him.
Let's go down to Texas Stadium, where Tampa Bay and Dallas are playing.
Rookie, a dramatic turnaround in Big D. Watch now. The injured hand of Danny White. The ball slips free, and Hugh Green has got it in 61 yards for the touchdown. The extra point is good. The Buccaneers lead the Cowboys now 7-6. Let's go back now to Tom Brookshire and Wayne Walker.
Is that incredible? Hugh Green. He runs like a halfback still. That's Charlie Johnson coming out of our game. He just made a great tackle of Riggs. And Charlie, the former All-Pro with Philadelphia, my Colorado Buffalo, is coming out of the game, but he doesn't look like he's seriously hurt. James White's in for it, number 72. A big effort guy. Second down, and call it 9.5. Prepley in motion. Blitz. Studwell gets the sack.
Studwell, who had 2 sacks on the regular season, gets his first in postseason play. Number 55, usually not in there in sure passing situations. That time Minnesota, a 4-man line, and Studwell blitzed right over the left guard position and came clean. Nobody touched him to make the sack on Bartkowski.
A big play, and Studwell's play now has put the Falcon offense in dangerous territory. Third down and 19 on the 22. Bartkowski throwing quickly, just off the fingertips. Intended for Harold Jackson, and Bartkowski gets knocked down again. It's the same old crowd that used to go outdoors.
Remember, and Page and Eller and those guys that get things going and kind of seemingly take over a game defensively. Much like the Vikings are doing right now to Steve Bartkowski and the Atlanta offense. Look at those stats. Minnesota has dominated on defense so far in this one.
One completion for one of the great pure throwers probably in all of football. Here's Roberts, the left footer, the kick, and Rufus passes back. He's hurrying, almost gets it blocked. A low sailor. Flags are down. The flags are down. It may be roughing the punter. Hang on if it is. They're going to call the offense back out on the field. John Swain was the one protesting. Roberts barely got it off. Remember, if you're blocked into the punter, that's different.
Swain, number 29, was coming from the right side, kind of scraped in and around and got close to the punt, but hit Roberts' leg after the punt. And it was contact.
Red Cashin now, the arbitrator.
Running into the kicker, number 29 on the defense, first down.
That's a first down call.
Here it is right here, and you'll see that Swain comes around and then just clips Robert on the foot after the ball is gone. It ain't much, but it was enough.
Not very popular Johnson hit the arm of Bartkowski.
They've been bringing the inside linebackers a lot off their 3-4. You saw Studwell just a couple of plays ago. That time it was DJ, Dennis Johnson, the former USC Trojan who came in. Watch number 52 now. 65 is Charlie Johnson back in there. He waits for the guard to double team. Comes up, gets around the back Riggs. And just glanced a hand off Bartkowski's throwing arm as he released.
Second down and 10. Bartkowski straight back. Keith Crepley makes a catch for a first down at the 44-yard line. McNeil touched him there. And what an acquisition. When Junior Miller went down, a week before that, Keith Crepley was reactivated, the former Eagle.
Was a real tough, solid guy, and we asked Lehman Bennett, why Crepley, who had not played at all this year, didn't even go to a training camp, and he said, well, he's a veteran, being in a playoff situation as he was so many times in Philadelphia, it's no big deal to him, and he's smart, he can assume our offense in a short period of time, and he's done that.
Big catch for a first down. First and 10. Bartkowski getting a lot of time. Bartkowski dropped. I believe that was Hodge, Floyd Hodge, who looked over his shoulder to see if he was going to be hit.
Hodge is the guy that comes in when they use 3 wide receivers. In all fairness to Bartkowski here this afternoon, Brookie, he's had 3 or 4 dropped on him.
Flag is going to be walked off. Another flag, a 5-yarder against Minnesota.
Holding by the defense. Number 59, first down.
Automatic first, defensive holding. Matt Blair. Vikings with 100 yards passing, 156 total yards. Pretty good offense. Billy White Shoes Johnson in motion. Riggs with the ball. Darrell Riggs breaks 2 tackles and fights through players to the 34. Willie Teal finally holding on. Riggs broke at least 2 tackles and almost scored.
Watch William Andrews, number 31, lead this play. The toss back to Riggs. Number 31 out in front. He's on the cornerback Teal right there. Takes him outside. Riggs cuts it up inside. You're not going to get him down with an arm. Now, this is kind of something right at this stage of the game with Minnesota putting so much pressure on Bartkowski, Tommy, that I think that Atlanta has to do. They have to now establish their running game a little bit. No better way to do it with those 2 horses in there because you can give it to both of them and the other one will block for him.
Remember, Riggs came on strong in all the postseason games last year. Looks like he's worth it. It's 10-7. Minnesota on top. You're looking up at the roof. They had a slight tear in it a couple of weeks ago. A week ago, the water came through. Watered down Mr. Cosell, which is all right with me. Here's Doug Martin that's coming out of the game, the big defensive left end. And his replacement, of course, is Holloway, the big kid from Pittsburgh University. First and 10. On the 35, inside drive. Andrews inside the 30. He shifted gears a little bit and then shoved it in there. Let's go to Brent Musburger now in New York City and find out what's happening down in Dallas.
Rookie down. Attempts to go airborne. He's got Doug Cosby over there, and Doug just can't get the hole opened up. He goes in here, and Hugh Green says, take a little helmet licking right there. Let's go back down to Tom Brookshire in Minneapolis.
Some tough game. Here's the play that just broke as you came back. This is Riggs. Riggs with a good block there by Crepley and also by Andrews. Dennis Johnson making the tackle.
Well, you know the story about William Andrews, that when he played at Auburn, he was a blocking back for Joe Cribbs and Brooks, and he said he enjoyed it down there. He said that was my role and I liked it. I didn't care if I had the ball or not. I don't care if I get it up here. He said we're all doing this thing together. I appreciate what my offensive linemen do for me when I have it. I'm going to turn around and do this favor for someone else when they have it.
Boy, he does it. Right now he's blocking for Riggs, the rookie. the secondary, along with Blair. Riggs gets it in gear very quickly.
Yes, he does. And boy, he is big, about 225, 230 pounds. Here it is again. It's the same thing. They've been running to the left side. They just turned around and ran it to the right this time. The toss, good block by the tight end. You see Andrews out in front, getting a block on the cornerback, and then you just don't get Riggs down without him going forward for a yard or two.
And Wayne, you played linebacker. The toughest block for a back to get is from the inside, going outside, blocking a linebacker from the inside position.
When you're as strong as Andrews is, he's just kicking out. He's just picking that cornerback out.
Lane Kane is in there now. It's 2nd down and 7. Gronkowski going across the middle, intercepted. Intercepted by John Turner. Turner intercepts and holds the ball up. And Gronkowski is there. He made the tackle on Turner.
Gronkowski's wishing two things right now. Number one, he hadn't thrown that ball in there where he did, and number two, that he didn't get over there and make the tackle. A very courageous player, Bartkowski is. He doesn't have the best wheels in the world. Here it is right here. They've been setting things up with the run. No play action, just straight drop back. Try to get it over the middle. But Turner, number 27, the former cornerback, comes out of it in that crowd. Now let's watch Bartkowski right there show up. And he makes the hit. He is down, coming off the field right now, but he's coming off a little shakily.
Bartkowski is sitting next to Jeff Pablo, the backup quarterback.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
But he made a good tackle on the run back man, and that's Morosky, who's back sort of warming up just in case. But don't count on that substitution, not yet. 1st down and 10 for the Vikings. Good defensive play, the interception. Inside handoff. Galvin, nothing. As soon as Tony touched the ball, Richardson went for Tony. Boy, is he fast. That Richardson can go from sideline to sideline.
Richardson was a late-round draft choice, and an 8th-round draft choice. Had bad knees, as Brookie said. They're almost bionic. If they'd have been good, he'd have probably been about a 2nd-round choice. He's got that kind of athletic ability. He's really proven it, though. Lehman Bennett says he's his most underrated player.
2nd down, 11. The reverse, the Statue of Liberty to Ted Brown. Ted Brown has a 1st down. The old Statue of Liberty play. Kuykendall made the tackle there.
You had to figure that Minnesota would have one or two of these kinds of plays in their game plan because Atlanta is such a reactive defense. They hustle and get after the football. You get them going one way and then bring it around the other, and you can trick them a little bit.
Well, I like Ted Brown. When he's in a football game, the Vikings are always in that particular football game. He was sensational against the Cowboys on only Monday night. Got it moving. 1st and 10. Good play by the Viking offense. The bootleg, naked, Kramer to Sensor. Sensor fumbles the ball. Recovered by Sammy White, I believe. Vikings keep the ball. Welcome back to viewers. The Dallas area and the Ardmore, Oklahoma area. Welcome back. The score here is 10-7. Minnesota leaving the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons' only score was a block punt early in the 1st quarter.
Here it is again now. We said a couple of these plays. They work well against Atlanta. Look at that White defense going over there to the right. Kramer rolls short, hits Sensor. Claysburg comes up from behind, strips the football. But it's Sammy White who gets it for the Vikings.
We're told that Bartkowski will be back for the Falcons when they get the ball back, that is. The Vikings are moving. Good play by Simpson. 1st and 10. Kramer throws. First real bad throw I've seen Tommy Kramer throw. He dropped his arm and sort of half sidearmed that thing.
He had to time it up out there with McCollum, and he threw it right into his zone. And wanted to get it in between the cornerback who was up and the safety who was coming over, tried to put a little touch on it and overthrew McCollum on that one.
See the look on McCollum's face like he couldn't believe it was way up there.
We just got word right from the Atlanta bench that Steve Bartkowski is okay. We'll be back in for the Falcons.
Sammy White's going to the left. McCollum to the bottom of the screen. There's Bartkowski. Look at all those people. 62,000. Live. Ricky Young's in motion. Everybody's out. Kramer trying to hit Sensor. Incomplete. Good coverage by Atlanta.
Sensor is incomplete.
Those last two throws do not look like the sharpshooter.
Well, he can get hot and stay hot, and he's also the kind of guy that if he throws an interception or a couple 3 bad passes, it doesn't upset him at all. And he can throw all kinds. He can throw it short with touch. He can drill it in there. And you've seen him throw it long, run right on the money here this afternoon.
He's got to do it here. 3rd down and 10. We've got 3:07 left before halftime. Minnesota up by 10-7. The shotgun. A lot of time. Overthrowing Sensor. Oh! Sensor is knocked down. I believe it was Kenny Johnson that rifled the tight end. And the big draft choice from Westchester State is still on the ground. That ball was overthrown.
Here it is again now. Notice that Atlanta is rushing just 3 down linemen. They have 8 people back defending. Tough to find a spot. Had to throw it over a linebacker. And you saw Sensor take the hit right there from number 27, Tommy Pridemore.
Whatever, Sensor is down. 3:03 left before half. Joe Sensor's off, the big fella. He walked off on his own power, looking over to just look at the defensive secondary like, I'll be back. Here's the duel now. You've got Billy White Shoes Johnson waiting for Greg Coleman's punt. Billy White Shoes is the all-time punt returner in this league. He's going to let this one go in the end zone. Atlanta will get the ball out on the 20-yard line. Their offense is going to have to go to the whip and go to work with 2:55 left before half. Don't forget, next Sunday, NCAA basketball on CBS. The DePaul Blue Demons against the Louisville Cardinals.
Louisville's got another tough team. Those McCray brothers, Scooter and the other one, I think they've lost this one game, Brookie, to UCLA this year.
And Ray Meyer, of course, one of the great coaches that can full court press you still today, even at his advanced age. NCAA basketball on CBS. Bartkowski's back in there on the 20-yard line. Play action. Slip screen to the left. Wicks breaks one tackle. Almost breaks 2 and gets to the 20. Studwell made sure.
Studwell on the tackle. No gain.
Just a great play that time by Fred McNeil. A tremendously tough play for any linebacker, the screen pass. Play action fake, quick throw out here. Watch McNeil come over the top of Scott, the blocker, force it back inside to Studwell, who makes a play. But it was number 54 who came up from the outside that really made that defensive play work for Minnesota.
And Bartkowski looked downfield like he was trying to get that linebacker out of there. Good play is right. Handoff, Wicks. Hit from behind by number 75, Doug Martin.
Okay, when we talked to Matt Blair the other day, he said that number 79, young Doug Martin, just his 3rd year in the league from Washington, reminds him a lot of Alan Page, the way that through a certain sequence in a period of the ball game, he could almost control the game by himself. He said it's like having Carl Eller playing next to you defensive end, but number 79, he says, is so quick and so strong, although he's much bigger than Alan Page, that he does the same things that Page can do. His size, quickness, get through the gap there, beat 2 blockers, and make that play. So Martin is a good one. We told you about this young Minnesota defense. He's a spearheader.
Back at the Metrodome, Tom Brookshire with Wayne Walker. Two old defensive players loving modern-day football. That's Lehman Bennett you're looking at, the Atlanta coach. They've been in the playoffs 2 years of his 6 since he's been down there. But like every other coach, you're only as good as your last couple of games, I guess. That preceding announcement, by the way, was brought to you by the National Football League and Sam Huff, our old buddy from the New York Giants. 0 for 4. How about that on third down defense? Markowski. Oh. Almost caught by Alfred Jackson, who looked like act like the ball is not there and make a slick move. Incomplete.
That was a good call, Tom. He tried to decoy the cornerback, Willie Teal. Decoy him to think the ball's not in the air and not coming his way. You know, keep running normally down the sideline. Then at the last minute, get your hands up and try to make the catch.
Here's Roberts in to punt, the left footer. He's kicking to Rufus Bess, who has been running back most everything. A little confusion now in the Atlanta group. They're over the up back is on the left side, of course, to protect the left foot of the kicker. He's got time this time. An average kick. Rufus Bess to 45. Bess good for 2 tackles. Rufus Bess hit the 34-yard line. Happiness is Rufus Bess. That's all. He only came in with 2 returns all year.
Atlanta lost their outside containment here on the outside. I can't tell who it was right there that slipped down. But you see him slip down, lose outside containment. Bess breaks a couple of tackles, makes a move, and picks up big yardage. He's been the difference in this one today.
Used to be a nickelback, didn't he? Rufus Bess with Buffalo.
A cornerback, exactly.
You can't trust those cornerbacks. 1st and 10. A big run back by Rufus Bess. His third of the day. Kramer. The Statue of Liberty again. Teddy Brown to the 20-yard line. Williams and Butler make the tackle there. A big first down for the Vikings.
Probably first time Atlanta has seen Minnesota run from that formation. It's a triple with just one back in the backfield, and he's offset over to the left of Kramer. That's Ted Brown. It's almost like a shotgun with the quarterback under. Now you see him come back, fake the pass, hand it off on the statue, and Brown does the rest. Atlanta thinking it was going to be a pass, and the Vikes crossed him up with that run.
56 yards on 10 carries for Ted Brown out of North Carolina State. Kramer on 1st and 10. Breaks a tackle. Completes the LeCount at the 15-yard line. Well, Kramer can move.
Kramer played last year with a knee brace with a bad knee, and it hampered his mobility, but he's 100% this year, and you can tell what a difference it makes when Kramer, or any quarterback for that matter, can scamper around and slide around back in that pocket and get second chances against the defense.
And you know, he'll throw the ball 60 times in a game. If he gets it going that way and they feel like they can pick you to death, that's what they do. And right now he's throwing most of the time. 2nd down 5. Kramer running. That time he was running. You can see the time on the clock. 1:24. Smith and Williams in on the tackle.
Quarterback draw play that time for Kramer and the Bud Grant offense.
9 of 18 for 130. And 110 and ticking on the clock. See Bud Grant and Johnny Michaels. Bus Murdy's over there, the coaches that have been with Bud Grant for 15 years.
And the plays come from Jerry Burns, the offensive coordinator.
Big play right now. 50 seconds on the clock. Get it stopped. Going for all of it. Overthrow. That'll stop the clock. Crazy George or that Wild Viking. Neither one could have gotten that one. That was up in the stands. Don't forget at halftime, the NFL today, Brett Nerve will have scores and highlights. And our good friend, old Chuck Knox, will be in there, the Buffalo Bills coach and a great football person. So stay tuned and get caught up with Brett Nerve and Chuck.
Here comes the field goal team on the field for Minnesota. Brookie, I'm just tremendously impressed with Atlanta's defense. 2 times now, Minnesota's been down to the 10-yard line or right close to it. Twice now. Atlanta's kept them out of the end zone.
Dan Meyer is pretty accurate from this distance. A 30-yard field goal attempt on a string. 22 yards in 4 plays. The big play, a Statue of Liberty to Ted Brown. Look at Dan Meyer. A straight-ahead kicker.
If you're going to wear black shoes, you almost have to be a straight-ahead kicker.
Or Kenny King with Oakland. That's the only other guy that wears the crazy high-top black shoes. Bud Grant, the fellow you're looking at in the middle of this huddle, we went into his office on Friday, and he's the only football coach I know that doesn't have a single football piece of memorabilia around. It's all trouts and stuffed pheasant. And
duck.
He's got a deer feeder outside the practice area.
We've got 2 pictures of the Minneapolis Lakers basketball team when he played on it, right after he got out of college. Said he was the 10th man on that team, but he played a lot and played well for the Lakers, helped them down the stretch in a couple of championship seasons. Played for your old team, Philadelphia Eagles, and then they didn't give him enough money, so he went up to Canada, where
it was a lot of money. I think it was like $8,000 or $9,000.
Where the hunting was better.
He wears well, though. Anybody that plays for Bud Grant always comes back and starts the next preseason. If a rookie comes in, he's got to beat the old-timer or the veteran, let's say, out. And there's something about that theory that's good in life as well. Rick Danmeyer will kick off a 13-7 lead. And welcome back, you people from Dallas area and Ardmore, Oklahoma. We're in Minnesota. Okay, Reggie Brown comes up the middle. There are a few flags now being thrown into the pile. Welcome back, you viewers from the Dallas and Ardmore, Oklahoma area. Minnesota, it's 13-7 now. A 30-yard field goal by our friend Mr. Dan Meyer has put the Vikings up by another 3.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 36 of the receivers. It's 1st and 10.
And the ensuing kickoff, as you can see, called for a 15-yard violation against the Falcons, but they are not out of this game. You know, 13-7 can be wiped out in one big play. Bartkowski trying to get the offense going with 34 seconds left. The draw play. Oh, what a move by Andrews. William Andrews just went up to the linebacker, made a juke, and left him standing right there. What a ball carrier. What balance. John Turner, who made the tackle, is down. They tell me that William Andrews hit one of the defenders for the Denver Broncos, knocked him down and out, and then went 86 yards with the longest pass play in the league this year. He is really put together like a rock.
Well, I know that we saw him, and many of the fans saw him about 3 weeks ago make almost the same kind of run against the San Francisco 49ers, where he caught a little pass out in the flat and came up and took on Ronnie Lott, number 42, who gave him a great shot. And Andrews ran through that and went all the way and scored on that play. Here it is right here. Now watch this move. Pretty nifty for a guy that big and strong.
The best way of describing him is, Harry Gilmer, you know, the coach down in Washington. He told me once that he said, this guy splatters people. And really, he runs through. Defensive backs are looking for somebody to fall over when he gets through into your secondary. There's John Turner coming over. Used to play at Miami, Florida. A good, hard-knocking secondary man. A little bit gimpy. He ran in number 31.
see Turner there, who was playing safety now. He was moved over from cornerback.
Yeah, Kurtnoff will go in, the Jayhawker. He's been a starter before, so that's pretty good depth in the secondary. First and 10 now, with 25 seconds left. Markowski going for the screen. It's knocked away. Doug Martin and Holloway were both right in his face.
Kind of a funny-looking throw there by Bart. I don't know whether he changed his mind right at the end and wanted to hang on to it and take the sack or what, but the ball just kind of dribbled off the end of his hand.
Pretty soft surface out here, though. You know, it's a fast surface, but unlike some of the artificial jobs, the rug here has got a little bit of a bounce to it. Players seem to like it. They thought they would anyway.
It was real wet for that Dallas game because of that big hole in the roof, and then they turned the heat up here this week to 95 indoors for all week long to dry it out.
Melted all the wax figures in here, huh?
Could have made a community sauna out of this place for 3 or 4 days.
21 seconds left. Handoff inside. No first down. Good defense as Andrews is hit by Holloway. Minnesota defense much more aggressive than they appeared even early in 1982 and particularly all of last year. That's the end of the first half. It's been a battle from the start. You people in Ardmore, Oklahoma and Dallas, you're back to Texas Stadium. The rest of you, hang close.
Tom, we looked around, as we said at the top of this telecast, the fact there have been so many numbers put up on the NFL scoreboards. We've got a low-scoring game here. It's been a hard-hitting game. We guaranteed you that. Let's go now to Brent Musburger in New York.
All right, Tom, meanwhile, down in Dallas right now, the Cowboys lead the Buccaneers 13-10. We have 13 seconds left in the first half. Now, the Bucs are on the move. They may be able to set up for a tying field goal. Capice has an extremely strong leg. We're going to join now Pat Summerall and John Madden. And again, only 13 seconds left in the first half of that game. Let's go to Pat now.
To the left. Williams looking in that direction and throws to Kevin House. Misses him. Rod Hill was the defender who was back there with him. Doug Williams, who's completed that one pass to Giles for an 8-yard gain, and that's it. 8 seconds left to play first half. Jones comes into Williams, tells him what McKay wants. Carter and Kevin House also in the contest. House goes to the right this time, and Giles is over there too. Don't forget about him. He can run. Dallas does not show blitz, and they do not blitz. They don't need to. Williams has to throw it to the ground in the direction of Wilder, but Harvey Martin and Randy White really put the heat on Doug Williams.
Doug Williams bought one more play on this one, though, because he knows with 8 seconds to go, no timeouts, if he gets sacked right here by Harvey Martin, it would be over. By getting rid of the ball, throwing it out of bounds, he bought this play. With 4 seconds left, the Buccaneers only have one more play, so they'll have to go for the end zone.
The alley-oop type to throw it up for grabs and hope that one of my guys comes down with it in the end zone, maybe. This is Wilder. Wilder bangs down to the 20. Stopped finally by Bob Grimmett. That'll take care of the first half as Wilder rambles for 25 yards. But as they head for the locker rooms at the end of the first half, it's Tampa Bay 10, Dallas Cowboys 13. Right now, let's go back once again to New York and Brent Musburger.
All right, thank you, Pat. And on this second day of the Super Bowl tournament, the games take on some flavor. We'll be back with the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Chuck Knox, and Irv Cross as the NFL Today continues in just a moment. Back in New York, I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Cross and Chuck Knox, the coach of the Buffalo Bills. And Irv, Doug Williams only 1 of 13 in that first half.
Remember, though, Brent, he had a pulled hamstring coming in this game. He could be that he's having trouble setting up on that leg.
Well, let's go to some highlights, Coach. Is it possible that that is affecting the way he's throwing?
That could be a factor because he's a better passer than 1 completion in 13 attempts.
Exactly. Well, we're going to see kind of a deflected ball here in this first sequence. Doug Williams goes back, and the Cowboys have dropped off the defensive secondary. They're expecting the ball, and I guess you got a regular tip drill, right, Coach?
That's exactly what it was right there. Deflected, play scale there to pick it off. Anytime you throw over the middle and you get it deflected, you're probably going to end up with an interception.
Now, Danny White is obviously bothered by the injured thumb, isn't he, Chuck?
You can see that right there. When he loses a ball like that, no one touched Hugh Green, who was coming on a blitz, and the ball just fell into his hands. Big play for Tampa.
Hugh Green, one of the faster young linebackers in the National Football League, and Tom Landry just cannot believe how things are going for his Cowboys. We've got Danny White back in the shotgun again near midfield, and this one is intercepted by Mark Cotney.
That was a very well played ball there by Cotney. Big play.
And, of course, they have got 3 new starters in that defensive backfield. Then a little play fake, roll right, and Ron springs up in the air and on into the end zone for the touchdown right now that has the Cowboys ahead at the half, 13-10. Now, in the other NFC game, at the half, of course, at the Metrodome in Minneapolis, the Minnesota Vikings leading the Atlanta Falcons 13-7. And in that action, Irv, we had a blocked punt early.
Coleman has great hands. He muffs this ball, tries to get it, but the Falcons block it and wind up in the end zone for a touchdown. Doug Rogers makes the recovery.
But they come right back and get into the ball game when they use your old buddy Sammy White.
Sammy White out of Grambling. Big play player for Minnesota for years, and the Vikings are really happy to see this because, you know, Sammy's been hampered by injuries this year. 36-yard touchdown, and Kramer is happy to see it.
Irv, I think we're going to have exciting second halves in both of those games. Now, we've got another newsmaker with us. I can't keep track with all the coaching changes that are going on in the National Football League. Yesterday, of course, Dick Vermeil intimating strongly that he's going to take a year's leave of absence and may leave. I've been told that Bill Walsh probably will step out as coach next Thursday at San Francisco. And Chuck Knox, what about you? I hear a lot of rumors. Are you going to be back in Buffalo?
Well, I'm going to meet with Ralph Wilson in about a week, and we're going to sit down and determine what the future is going to be for the Buffalo Bills and what my role in that future is going to be.
Chuck, what would you like to do? Would you like to become a general manager, a coach and general manager? What kind of status would you like?
Well, I like just coaching. I think, you know, a coach has enough to do in the right circumstances, and I've been coaching for 29 years, and it's been my life. But I think when 2 great coaches like Bill Walsh and Dick Vermeil talk about maybe wanting to get out, it shows you how much tremendous emotion there is involved in the game. You go from the high to the low to the high, and how much pressure a coach brings on himself, the tremendous hours that he puts in.
What's bringing on the pressure, Chuck? What's the key thing behind it?
Well, I think it's just the way the business is constructed today. I think the strike...
The business, probably the money.
The strike today, and, you know, you look around the league, you see some coaches who are out of work now. Some people I think are pretty good football coaches.
Oh, Marv Levy, I think, did an excellent job. And all the coaches have said to me, Brent, I'm so shocked that he got fired.
A class guy and was doing an outstanding job, and then the strike hit him. They never fully recovered.
All right, do you have a deadline when you will make a decision in talking to Buffalo? Now, Dick Vermeil obviously has next week. What about Chuck Knox?
I'm going to sit down with Ralph Wilson the week after next, and we're going to discuss the entire situation, and we'll have a decision at that time.
Chuck, off the wall, if Georgia Frontiere is on the telephone right now and says you can be both general manager and coach, would you go back to L.A.?
Well, they already have Ray Nagel out there who's going to head up their football operations. But, you know, that would really be speculation. I'm not trying to dodge or duck a question. But I really don't know. But I've been in coaching long enough to know that you always have to be willing to listen to people and always consider, you know, what your options may or may not be.
I also know one other thing. You have a son who is a superb high school football player who won that last year up at Orchard Park High, Buffalo.
Well, that's right, and we'd like to stay there and get a chance to see him play if situations are worked out.
All right, Coach, stay right there because we want to take a look at the AFC highlights. The Jets have won a playoff game for the first time since they captured the Super Bowl, and the Chargers are going back to Miami. We'll have all that as the NFL Today continues after these messages from your local stations. I guess all of us have said from time to time that the San Diego Chargers football team lacks character. Today, they showed some character. They came down the field, and they put away the Pittsburgh Steelers, 31-28. Looked bad on the opening kickoff, though, Coach.
Certainly did. James Brooks fumbling this one and then losing it in the end zone and starting off down 7-0. He fumbles the next one, so I know what Don Coryell's thinking. I've been in that position.
But you don't quit on these players, do you?
No, here's James Brooks coming right back here, making a big run for a touchdown.
Now, what about this screen pass they used to Kellen Winslow?
Well, this is about the only time that Dan Fouts rolls out. It's a throwback screen, and here he's going to take it in for the go-ahead touchdown to win the game for him. They threw this pass twice in the game, and it's a tight end screen.
And it sure worked for him. Now, in the other AFC game earlier today, the New York Jets, as I told you, winning a playoff game for the first time since Super Bowl III, 44-17 in Cincinnati. Irv against Forrest Gregg. And here was Kenny Anderson back to pass.
He had a good day, Brent, but unfortunately, of course, his team lost the game. He threw the ball 35 times today, completed 26, 353 yards for 2 touchdowns. That's one of them right there.
You talk about a good day, Irv. Freeman McNeil, 211 yards. That, of course, is a playoff record, and he just dominated the game on the ground. Now, here comes Anderson looking for Chris Collinsworth.
Well, looked like this play was pretty well set up. Ken throws the ball up, but Darrell Ray picks it off. People here in New York remember Darrell Ray. He's made a lot of big plays for the Jets. The second-round draft choice out of Oklahoma. And there he goes for a 98-yard interception return for a new playoff record.
All right, so let us set the AFC now for next weekend. There are 2 games. The Jets will go out to the Los Angeles Coliseum and take on the Raiders, and San Diego will be down in the Orange Bowl to take on Miami. And quickly, Chuck, do you like the Jets, Raiders, Chargers, Dolphins?
I think the Raiders at home. And I think San Diego is on a roll, and they show what they can do today, and I like them.
All right. Thank you for being with us. And now let's send you back to the second half. We got a lot more action coming up on CBS.
Minnesota 13, Atlanta 7. Well, it's going to be some half. Well, the fur has been flying everywhere there. Had that oval football in play today. We're here in Minnesota, the Metrodome, named for the great late Senator Hubert H. Humphrey here in Minneapolis. Tom Brookshire with Wayne Walker, and it's 13-7. That's only 2 field goals or 1 touchdown, and the Atlanta Falcon offense hasn't showed up yet. Here's Dan Meyer, number 7, kicking off, and Reggie Bowden waiting, and the Falcons will at least get the chance to put it in play. From the 9-yard line, Reggie Brown. Reggie gets a good wedge and gets out to the 29-yard line. About the best field position the Falcons have had coming out of any kind of a kick. Halftime stats obviously in favor of Minnesota, 213 yards. Look at this passing stat for Atlanta.
That's the key right now. That is the key right now in this ball game. The fact that Atlanta's passing game has just gone south on them for a while.
Markowski is 3 of 13. The Atlanta team averaged 198 yards a game, and they've got 25 yards. Let's see if they made the adjustments. 1st and 10. The handoff. Andrews gets about a yard and a half, and Frederick Neal slugs him there.
Markowski just 3 for 13, as we mentioned, for 34 yards. He's been sacked, though. Tommy Kramer, pretty good first half. Yardage-wise, 130. He's 9 of 19. Both defenses are playing good. Anytime you keep those quarterbacks under 50%, the way the rules are now, you're doing your job on defense.
And you still think the Falcons will try to get that rushing game going so they can be steady?
That's what it looked like that first play, and we'll feel it right away.
2nd down, call it 9. Markowski being chased, being dropped at the 27-yard line. James White in there. Duck White made the sack. Looked like good coverage in the secondary. That time Bart had nobody to go to.
That was the key to that one, because he looked downfield and had pretty good protection early. He looked downfield, everyone was covered, and he just had no one to go to.
Intensity. Some of the Atlanta people said the Minnesota defense played with emotion for the first time on Monday night against Dallas. Very emotional today, too. 3rd down, 11. Good catch, good pass and catch and a broken tackle into Minnesota territory. Floyd Hodge
His first year, he was on the injured reserve last year. He played quarterback at Utah until he was a senior. And then they turned him into a wide receiver, and you see why. Quickly he got off the line, got over the middle. That's the easiest throw a quarterback can make, that one right over the middle. Hodge breaks a tackle and gets down and picks up a first down, and that'll help the Atlanta cause considerably, especially mentally.
And a short throw. He didn't have to throw it 80 yards to get a good gain, huh? A 1st and 10 in Minnesota territory. Crowd's getting worried a little bit now. Straight drop back, Bartkowski. Number 10. Oh, he's got a man open. Good play, out of bounds at the 25. Alfred Jenkins. He's got that streak going again, but this is a playoff game, so it doesn't count. At least he said, I don't even worry about those things.
That's true. You know, Brookie, something we really haven't mentioned enough is the fact that Atlanta is playing without Junior Miller. They're a great tight end. You talk about your handful of good tight ends in the league, and he's one of them. He opens up the run. He helps a lot with William Andrews' runs. He's been missing. He's a great pass receiver. He can get deep, he can get downfield, and they really miss him out here this afternoon.
And Matt Blair said he's such a good blocker that it changes the whole Atlanta offensive plan. They got it moving now. 1st and 10 on the 25. Andrews to the 20. How about him getting 2,000 yards in the 81 season? 81 catches and 1,300 rushing, over 700 catching. He does change in the phone booth. Thomasville, Georgia.
Yeah, he says his goal is to be a complete player. He is certainly that.
And he appreciates his offensive lineman. He says, I know what it's like. Quick drop back, Bartkowski. Outside, off Krepley at the 15-yard line. Hannon was there, but that could have been a completion.
Well, that's one of the keys that we were talking about. When you're Bartkowski and you've worked with a tight end like Junior Miller for 2-3 years now, and you work with him in practice, you know when he's going to turn around and look for the ball. Krepley was a little late running a pattern, was late looking back, and Bartkowski released just a minute too soon.
It's a pretty hot throw, too, huh? Large defensive play here for the Vikings. 3rd down, and call it 6. Ball's on the 21. Straight drop back. The flex is on. Bartkowski is hit. Completes it. Good defensive coverage and short of the 1st down. Hodge made the catch, but it's short of the sticks, and Tommy Hannon really drilled the receiver there.
That was a good throw by Bartkowski, considering the pressure he got. He felt it coming from his left side, knew he had to release right away. Here comes 72 Duck White. Hodge was out there. Good catch. He tries to fight for the 1st down, but Hannah's not going to let him have it.
And that's 3 Pro Bowlers that are in there on that offensive line that Minnesota's roughing up. Here's Luckhurst. He's missed all of his kicks this year between the 30 and 39-yard line. This is 35. The fake. Morosky is going to run with it, and he laterals back to Luckhurst. And the Falcons have stunned everybody, and I do not see any flags. What a fake.
That's a great call. It took a lot of courage at this point in the ball game.
Luckhurst for the touchdown.
That is obviously Luckhurst's first touchdown rushing this year, maybe in his whole life.
Mike Morosky, the backup quarterback, was a holder. I know for sure he wasn't an option quarterback in college. He played at Cal Davis out there. They threw the football around a lot, but he made a great option out there. Little lateral pass out to Luckhurst for the touchdown.
And now they're going to attempt to kick an extra point. Oh, what a crazy game. Special teams on a very special day, and it's good. And the Falcons take the lead. They blocked a punt for a touchdown. They have faked a field goal for a rushing touchdown.
Minnesota lines up and comes at you the same way on every extra point and field goal. They rush everyone. Now, in pretty good shape here. Teal looks like he's in good shape, but he's just a man in the middle, and that was a good pitch out by Morosky.
Luckhurst thinks he's Tommy Harmon. We'll be back in a minute. Atlanta 14, Minnesota 13. There's the touchdown rusher, Luckhurst, who is from England. He was born over in England, went to school there. He's married to a An American lady on the PGA Tour. There's Darian Nelson waiting for the ball. The goal line. He and Jarvis Redwine. Luckhurst will give you a little bit more of a look at him in just a moment. Here's his kickoff. It's a good kick to the one. That's Redwine. Good coverage. Jarvis Redwine makes a tackle and gets to the 19-yard line. Ray Strong makes another tackle on the kickoff team. Here's a young man now from Redbourne, England. Jolly well he runs.
Luckhurst started out in college in this country after he moved here at St. Cloud, transferred to University of California at Berkeley, was MVP on their rugby team. And look, he was carrying the ball in the wrong hand. Hank Stram would get after him for that.
He's perfect for Berkeley, though. Look at that hat on him. A nice young man. He was married to a lady on the PGA Tour, the LPGA Tour.
Terry Moody.
Terry Moody. Boy, he's happy. And the Vikings are mad. They're trailing out by a point. They're hot. Handoff. Galbraith. I'll make that Ted Brown is hit all the way back to the 10-yard line. Looked like the Falcons begin to get nasty. Joe Williams was there along with Jeff Murrow, better known as Bone Murrow. That's funny, he and that Yates came in there last night. Flea Dog and Bone, they called themselves. They sat around and talked to Walker and I about football. We sure had fun with it. You people now are going down to watch the Dallas game at Texas Stadium. So let's send you now to Texas Stadium to Pat Summerall and John Madden. You got it, you guys. Kramer going quickly to the flat. Atlanta's waiting for it. Ted Brown breaks a tackle and gets out over the 20-yard line. Some of what was lost on the play before. Looks like the Atlanta defense has begun to buzz a lot now. A lot of people are around the ball carrier, no matter where you put it. Kuykendall and Richardson teamed up that time.
Emotion is a strange thing in a football game. You can be sky high going into a game, and that'll carry you through for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then things have to happen in the game to get you pumped up again. And naturally, the Atlanta defense is pumped up because of that fake field goal that went for a touchdown. You saw Morosky with the lateral to Luckhurst.
What would you do if the offense never scored any of the touchdowns are in? You win a playoff game without having the offense score.
I was in one of those. I was in a 5-0 playoff game once.
Intercepted by number 36, Glazebrook. Glazebrook inside the 5 could score a touchdown. There's another touchdown. The offense did not score, but that counts for Atlanta. Underthrown by Kramer, and Glazebrook took it in a hurry. Lehman Bennett looked like it's just another scrimmage against the junior varsity.
Glazebrook, one of the hitters in that Atlanta secondary. An interception on the ball, as Ricky just told you, that was tremendously underthrown that time by Tommy Kramer.
He's just a work ethic guy anyway. They cut him 2 or 3 times in this league.
3 times he was cut and re-signed just by Atlanta. Tried him as a linebacker. He's so tough and tackles so well and hits so good that they tried him as a linebacker, but he helped him out at safety right here, didn't he?
Yeah, here's the ball carrier, Luckhurst. Morosky, the option quarterback, holds it. It's good. Wow. 3rd quarter action. Interception for a touchdown. Fake field goal for a touchdown. They call Lehman Bennett's offense dull.
Kramer back. Doesn't look like he's under a whole lot of pressure. Throws it out here, and it looked like it was about 10 yards short. Well, it was a cross-up with a receiver or what? Anyway, it's Glazebrook that's got it, and he makes just a great run to get into the end zone.
All he had was the short zone. It looked like he wasn't even expecting to get the ball. Here he chucks and releases.
Had his head nice, turned back like he's supposed to, looking at the quarterback, came back and played the short ball, makes the run and scores the first touchdown of his 5-year career.
Everybody being careful on the run back, too. No clip. Oh, Laughlin made sure he didn't clip Sammy White. Put up his hands like a wrestler and let Glazebrook run on his way to the Hall of Fame.
Lehman Bennett said he needed a couple big plays from his team, but when he talked to us last night, Berkey, but I know he meant from the offense. And he's got him here today, 2 from the special teams and 1 from the defense.
I know there'll be a lot of ragging of that offensive ball club when they go out to practice field the next time. They'll be changing uniforms. Let's see, you guys play over here. We'll take the offense. You really don't care in playoffs because it's all sudden death now. in the third period. It's 21-13. The Vikings have got to rekindle the fire. There's Nelson. Luckhurst's kick. A little shorter. At the 7 is Redwine. Jarvis Redwine breaks out. And the flag is down. The flag is down. They're going to call clipping. Back at about the 17-yard line. A good run back by the former Cornhusker from Nebraska. I'll tell you, the playoff action this year is undoubtedly the strangest and most bizarre I have ever seen. Fumbled kickoffs in the Pittsburgh game, and even yesterday when Alvin Garrett caught 3 touchdown passes, and Alvin's been running around a taxi most of the year, I think. Red Cashin, the head official. There's Lehman Bennett. He's back there to the...
Block below the waist. Number 34 of the receivers. It's 1st and 10.
A block below the waist, which is illegal. I don't know where else you're supposed to block people, but that's against the rules. It was Ricky Young. Bad field position, trailing by 8. The Vikings have the ball. Toss back to Brown. Brown to the 11-12.
So with bad field position that time, Minnesota took it on the toss, trying to get some room to get out where they can loosen things up and do what they like to do best, which is stretch out the field, both horizontally and vertically. Kramer looking over the sideline right now for the signal. And I would imagine now they have enough room where they could throw if they wanted to.
Welcome back, you people in Texas and in Ardmore, Oklahoma that have been watching your action there. The Cowboys, our action is 21-13 here. The Vikings suddenly trailing. And Atlanta scored 2 lightning-like touchdowns. Ooh, a lot of extracurricular activity on this pile. They claim there's a fumble out there. There's Jackson, number 1 draft a few years ago by Cleveland. They're going to call the Atlanta defense. Let's see what it is.
Here's the touchdown by Glazebrook.
Oh, we're going to show that to people. I'm sorry. We were confused here. We got a player down on the field.
Touchdown by Glazebrook on the interception just before people came back to us from Texas, and Glazebrook, the safety, on an underthrown ball by Tommy Kramer, gets in and puts Atlanta ahead.
Back live now. We've got a person hurt on the play and a big penalty against Atlanta. And this game is far from over. It's Teddy Brown that's on the ground, number 23. We've told you, when he is healthy, the Vikings are always in the game. When he's out of the game, they seldom win. 8:21 left in the third period. It's 21-13.
Update. Who did not see it. Raphael Septien is now 3 of 3, and the Cowboys lead the Buccaneers 16-10. Back to Tom Brookshire.
Ted Brown was helped off the field. He was holding the shoulder a little bit. The 205-pounder replaced by Ricky Young. And we talked to Teddy a long time on Friday. He had so much respect for everybody's ever carried the ball in this league, and we hate to see any great running back on the sidelines. Pro set. Tommy Kramer back on 1st down and 10. Outside move by McCullum. McCullum gets to the 41. Darn, Sam McCullum still has some good moves on that sideline.
Made a good juke on number 20 Earl Jones over on the sideline that time, and Kramer came back on his next throw after the interception and put it right on the money, too. That's Teddy Brown. The second time he has come out of today's game. We mentioned he hurt his shoulder last week. That appears to be what this one is.
Remember when you asked him about William Andrews, though, and how much respect he says, oh, William is something special. But that's sort of the way William Andrews felt about Ted Brown. 1st down and 10. Good play by Kramer. Inside move. That's Nelson. Nelson at about 185 pounds. He isn't going to live in the middle of that line running the football very long in this league. Kuykendall met him head on.
Tough going in the middle right here. Watch Don Smith, number 65, the nose tackle. Play this one. Got away from the center, then fell back in. Made the hit on Nelson with some help from Yates, falling down from defensive end.
Big Don Smith. Vikings look like they are beginning to get some emotion on offense as well. Kramer dumping to Galbraith. Galbraith hit hard at the 47-yard line. Richardson's the first guy, and that's the one thing you can guarantee, that there'll be a red helmet followed by other red helmets.
As many as possible. That's the way they're taught, to converge on the football. Even the defensive linemen, when they're rushing the passer, if they're 2 or 3 steps back towards the passer and he releases, they all wheel around and get back downfield and try to help out. So anytime somebody has the ball in that Atlanta defensive secondary, you're going to see a lot of white shirts and a lot of red hats coming in there on them.
3rd down and 4. A very large play in the 3rd period now. 6:57 left. Reverse motion by White. Looked like Merle jumped offside. Intercepted and dropped. The flags are down. If they call defensive right end being offsides, Jeff Merle looked like he moved, but he might have been drawn. Did the motion man, Sammy White, perhaps turn toward the line of scrimmage? Let's let those that are qualified make this decision. And they'll get a lot of help from those linebackers from Atlanta, right? Location wins this one. Lehman Bennett. He used to coach you up in Detroit, didn't he?
He was assistant coach my last couple years in Detroit on the Joe Schmidt staff, along with Chuck Knox, who's in the studio back in New York today.
As we said, it was Jeff Merle, better known as Bone Merle, and it does make a first down.
Merrill got a little bit of a quick start, and the officials were right on the money picking it up.
He and Riley have been pillar to post out there anyway, the big offensive left tackle. The story on penalties. First down, close that offense for Kramer. Inside toss, the toss outside. Nelson, whoa, what a good defensive play. Kuykendall makes a heck of a play, and Richardson mopped up. All right, let's go to New York City. An update from Brent Musburger. Brent?
Rookie Doug Williams against the Dallas Cowboys, and Kevin House breaks deep down the left sideline. There's the throw, and Dennis Thurman makes a spectacular interception. Let's go back now to Tom Brookshire and Wayne Walker.
What a defensive play by Dennis Thurman. He seems to be the guy they get their moxie from on that defensive club with that great offensive line. Looks like they may be hungry enough to try to go to the Super Bowl. I'm talking about the Cowboys. Here it is on 2nd down and 9. Kramer dancing. Oh, what a throw. Spencer has the ball to 29. He's a big target. Number 81 is a big, big target.
Well, you really hate to belabor a subject, but it was Kramer's mobility again that made that play successful. Kramer, number 9, drops straight back now. No play action in the pocket. Everyone's covered. Look at him slide. Look at him slip, and then throw on the run. And we talked about them spreading out the field. Spencer was 1 foot from the sideline, and Kramer used it all.
A 6th-round draft choice. Spencer might be one of the great steals of our time.
One of the best athletes in the league.
A first down for the Vikings who are driving. The 28. Play action pass. Kramer with a lot of time. He dumps it to Galbraith. Tony Galbraith to the 21-yard line. The crowd is standing now on every play. And we still have the 4th quarter left. We have almost 5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Laughlin down on the ground, number 51. He replaced Curry, of course, who had the knee injury. The Ohio Stater, he's got to be able to play. Lehman Bennett's one worry was that he said, we're not real deep.
but they've been deep enough. As you saw Laughlin come into the game and make some fine plays early on, and I know when you're replacing a guy like Buddy Curry, there's a lot of pressure on you, especially at the start of the ball game. Your teammates want to see how you react and what you do, and he came up with 2 or 3 good plays at the start of this game. Number 51, Jim Laughlin, right there. You see him at the right of the screen. Let's pick up and see how he got nicked on this one. As he comes in on the hit, a lot of other Atlanta people come over. Well, they talked last night, those Atlanta guys on defense, Brookie, about half the time that it's their own teammates that hurt them because they get around the ball so much. They'll be on the pile making a tackle, and 2 or 3 of their own people come over and hit them. In fact, it was Glazebrook who broke Merrow's arm, and Merrow said that Glazebrook has his cast in his locker as a trophy.
Laughlin's on the sidelines, and Robert Jackson, the big guy from Texas A&M, is in there. Was with Seattle and Cleveland before that. He's the #1 draft choice. It's 2nd down and 3 on the 21. 5-step drop. Kramer, he's going for it. He's flagging it. Overthrown, intercepted, and dropped. Tommy Pridemore dropped it on the 1-yard line. Kramer breathes again.
Kramer had an interception by the other safety, Bob Glazebrook, returned for a touchdown on an underthrown pass. This one was underthrown also over the middle, and it was 27 Pridemore who got his hands on it.
Numbers on Kramer now are 14 of 26 for 180 yards. He may go back to that big tight end sensor again. He feels safe in there with him. 3rd down and 3. Reverse left. The spread out. He's going to run for it. Looks like he has the 1st down. Williams tackled Kramer. Looks like Machine Gun Tommy got the 1st. Jeff Murrow is on the ground. They've been hustling on that 34 defense, and they say our job is just to protect our linebackers so they don't get hurt and they can make the tackles.
He and Yates and Don Smith, they said basically we're all nose tackles. We just use people up to keep them off our linebackers.
We've already told you the story about the broken arm, how his own player Glazebrook did it when they were gang tackling one day.
Merrill, one of the people that they look for on this team for toughness and leadership. Defensive line coach said that he and Yates are 2 of the toughest customers that he's been around in all his days in football.
Mike Perko, the rookie from Utah State, the 240-pounder, will come in there, spilling some big shoes. There he is. He looks like a member of a pirate crew, too. He looks tough.
A rookie from Utah State.
A big 1st down run, a scamper of 5 yards for Kramer. Number 9. Under 4 minutes in the 3rd period left. The reverse to Sammy White. Sammy White, a good block by Kramer. A good block by Huff. And nothing at the 21-yard line. Richardson recovered. Let's go to New York City and Brent Musburger.
Rookie for the knockout punch. Danny White will pull out. He'll send Tony Hill deep into the end zone. Watch Neil Colsey. He'll tip the ball in the end zone to his teammate John Holt. Interception, Buccaneers. Back to Brookie.
Some of the best defensive plays we've seen just in those highlights from Brent out of New York City. Fantastic. Here, we've got a problem. The Falcons have struck early and hard in this 3rd period for a 21-13 lead. The Vikings have got it moving. They're driving. Sammy White. Oh, they're going to call it out of bounds. Sammy White caught it very close to the flag. He's classy. He didn't argue. Johnson and Pridemore were watching. He didn't argue. Johnson and Pridemore were watching.
don't think it was even close, as you'll see right here. Kramer back, lofts it up for White, going through the corner. And he wasn't even close to being in.
Good call by the official, who was right there in the right place. And made a tough call.
Kenny Johnson, the cornerback. And getting help from Pridemore, who comes over.
Kramer in the shotgun. Oh, good catch at the 10-yard line. It's Sammy White. Well, that shows some class, though. You don't argue in front of your hometown fans. You come back and make the next catch.
But I think it's going to be to no avail. The preliminary signal is holding on Minnesota.
Some battle on the line of scrimmage right now. Intense.
Holding, number 61. The offense is still third down.
Wes Hamilton. And, you know, we're all confused sometimes when they do or do not call it. These guys are darn good at getting it done. A tough call. Teddy Brown now is back in the game. Number 23 is back for the Vikings. Third down and a lot. Kramer's going to run with it. Atlanta will just let the quarterback run with that one to the 22. No fear there as the linebackers, Laughlin and Kuykendall, teamed up. Danmeyer now will bring his sturdy frame in here. Bud Grant just said go out there and don't come back unless you kick it through. Of course, holding is Steve Dills, also out of Stanford. It's a 39-yard field goal attempt. It's straight away. It's got enough. Wow. Like Robin Hood. The Vikings within 5. 2:07 left in the third. It's 21-16. Brookshire with Wayne Walker. We're in downtown Minneapolis. That's right. In this new ball yard, Max Winter and Mr. Lynn have put into this beautiful city $55 million worth. And that's their kicker who just got the field goal. Danmeyer. Reggie Brown at the 10. Reggie Brown to the 27. What a scoring drive, Wayne.
Well, what was impressive about it, Tom, was the fact that they had 2 penalties in that drive that took them back. One right off the bat, the start of the kickoff, and then the one down there for Holden after they completed a pass down around the 10-yard line. They still ended up getting 3 points. They had a long ways to go, 70 yards on that drive.
There's a flag back down on the 38-yard line of the kicking team.
Offside, number 75 by the kickers. Penalty is declined. It's first and 10.
Holloway declined. We have 1:57 left in the third period. And it's 21-16. The Falcons have not moved the ball much on offense, though they lead. The toss. Back to Riggs. And I'll tell you, he's a big running back. He's got some moves. Let's go to New York City. Brent Musburger has some more info on that big Dallas game.
Alden, Woolley, and Big D. Doug Williams is going to pull out and hit Gordon Jones. Now watch Rod Hill. He can't hold on. Jones breaks free. 49-yard touchdown. They add the extra point. 17-16. Now the Buccaneers lead. Back to Tom and Wayne.
John McKay must be a shell of himself on the sidelines. What a game, 17-16. And here they're yelling for defense. Bartkowski, complete. Good tackle at the 37 as Alfred Jackson makes a catch.
John Swain on the tackle, Brookie, the cornerback, and that was a saver, too. He was off Jackson about 4 or 5 yards when he caught the ball. That's the toughest thing in the world with those quick eyes, is to come up on him and keep him contained. And Swain did it.
But just remember how these defensive players feel. They've been scored upon today with a blocked punt of Coleman's punt for a touchdown, a fake field goal that was run in by Luckhurst for a touchdown, and a Glazebrook interception run in for a touchdown. You can see how they've held Bartkowski in check. Third down 2. Play action pass. Bartkowski being chased to the second and 31. A big sack, and I'll tell you, the Viking defense at least is pepped up. That's George Roberts, the left footer.
Now they had a blitz on that time, and they weren't expecting pass. They had a blitz on to stop the run. It was play action pass, and after Bartkowski made the play fake, they were all right in his face. He had no chance.
Quarterback sacks, the Vikings have 3, and they have really stopped Bartkowski most of this game. And that was a tremendously exciting play because 62,000 have been asking for defense, and that's what they got. It's 21-16, and Minnesota's going to get the ball. Left. Remember, the playoffs this year for our Super Bowl tournament, it's sudden death. If you lose, you just go home and start taking the dog out and planting new trees in the spring. Here's Roberts' kick. It's a low kick, going to be returned by Rufus Betts. Rufus, he's hit hard at the 39-yard line as Ray Strong came down quickly and really belted Rufus Betts. We'll return to the Metrodome after this word from your local station. We got caught a little bit. 2 plays have been run. Kramer hit Galbraith for 2 yards, and then Kramer hit Joe Sensor, number 81, for a good gain, and it's a first down.
Sensor's at the top of your screen. The tight end gets an inside release. Kramer rolls to the right. Sensor runs a pattern to the right behind the linebackers. A leap up doesn't quite get it, and Sensor has the first down.
The Vikings offense has run the ball now 55 times. Kramer is 200 yards, 16 of 29, and they trail by 5. The toss to Ted Brown. Outside, Brown gets there and is run out of bounds by a host at about the 38-yard line. Kenny Johnson was there first. The tempo now is picking up, and anybody that is able to play is back out on the field. I just noticed Murrow's back out there. Ted Brown has been off and been patched up and taped and back out there. Don't save anything for the junior-senior prom. This is it.
There's number 75 just ducking in the huddle right there. An all-out competitor. We told you about that earlier.
Big play, second down. 8. Kramer straight back. A lot of time. Complete. McCollum. McCollum at the 23. Tackled by Kenny Johnson.
Decision he made when he picked up Sam McCollum at the beginning of the year. McCollum doesn't have the blazing speed that most outside receivers do, but he has the knack to getting cornerbacks turned around. McCollum over on the left side. He split out wide to the left. And Kramer will get it to him, and he'll be 3 and 4 yards away from anybody.
Boy, the offensive line doing some job protecting Kramer. There's Sam McCollum. Back from the other side of the great beyond this year. Inside handoff, Ted Brown. He's hit hard, though. Maybe a couple. As Fulton Kuykendall met him head-to-head.
Kuykendall on the tackle.
Kuykendall gives it all he has every play. Everyone out there right now, 22 guys giving it all they got. from the end zone. Kuykendall, the inside linebacker. Looks like there might be something to the outside, but Kuykendall bounces right with the flag. And makes a good stop.
And the Viking team has only fumbled 5 times and lost them offensively this year. This is a good play, too. Right here, second down reverse by number 9, Kramer, coming across. Ricky Young has it at the 14-yard line.
Just a great read by Tommy Kramer that time. They rolled him out to the left side to get him out of the pocket and get him some time. He looked down. Nobody was there on the left side. He threw back to Ricky Young coming out of the backfield from the right. Watch this rollout action right here. Atlanta's been putting the pressure on. You see, he wanted to go to that side, nothing there, and he went back and found about the third receiver. Just a great read by Kramer.
It's going to be short, but it was a great reception. It'll bring up third in about inches. And remember last week, Atlanta couldn't put any pressure on Kenny Stabler. That's why they felt like he picked them apart.
And that's why they had Kramer rolling out that time, because they had a ton of pressure on him in this ball game, and they wanted to get him out where he could see some things. And they've been doing it basically with just a 3-man rush.
The 300-pound rookie, Curtis Rouse, is in there at the guard position. They run behind him sometime when it's short yardage. They said he walked by a pizza parlor and gained 9 pounds one day.
He's about 3'5" now, they said, at practice.
Fumble by Kramer, and Kramer may have got it himself. Red Cashion's calling timeout for this measurement. Fumble, and then he tried to get it himself. If he didn't get it, it's going to bring up a very interesting 4th down call by Bud Grant.
Looks like he's short about the length of the football.
Now what do you do? Ricky Young is looking at the bench. It's one thing about being a head coach of the NFL. There's no place else to pass off the responsibility. Going to go for it.
He's sending in David Huffman, number 56, which means they'll go with 3 tight ends. They're going to try to knock it across and pick up this first down.
Huffman is 6'6", 270 for Notre Dame. Ted Brown and Ricky Young in. Oh my gosh. It's all heavy. Ted Brown outside. Brown gets inside to the 11-yard line. Joe Spencer with the big block.
Side behind Steve Riley and Sensor, who was a wingback, the tight end playing wingback. He got a block. He got some help from Ricky Young, who'll come right here, help out a little bit, and Brown cups it up in behind him for the first down.
Sensor with 6 catches for 81 yards did clear the way for Ted Brown. What a gutsy call by the Viking offense. They're going to try to win it with this drive. How about a loss of a yard? Pardon me, Ted Brown.
Brown, the ball carrier.
Kramer just told Kuykendall to ease off.
Others on the tackle.
Quarterback has lost his mind. There's Bud Grant sitting in the play. Johnny Michael, the offensive line coach. Looks like he's ready for a 15-round fight. That group is ready to win. They win $6,000 today in the playoff per man. And next week's is worth $10,000. It begins to get worthwhile. Second down and 10. Fake handoff, fake reverse. Kramer, touchdown.
Seahawks. Kramer found him for the touchdown that puts Minnesota up by 23-21. It's playoff, and we've got a burner.
It sounds like bedlam. Kick off, number 7. The defense has to play some defense. There's 10:07 left. This is Reggie Brown at the goal line. Reggie Brown to the 20. Stop at the 25. Now keep in mind what's going to have to happen. The Falcons, Luckhurst, who's already run for a touchdown, has kicked 2 field goals this year over 50 yards. 2 51-yarders. So keep it in mind that the Atlanta team has got to get inside the 35-yard line to be able to really take a shot at it. Injury on the field. We'll give that to you in just a moment, as both teams now have just taped it up and gone and gotten it. They gambled on 4th and inches. Put in the big guys, get the first down, then got a touchdown. Kramer to McCullum. That's Randy Holloway, who's played so well. Looked like it was his arm.
He's up and okay. Randy Holloway gets off. I want to point something out. Watch the Atlanta wedge and watch number 57 of the Vikings, Robin Senline, come in. See the 3 guys up there, the 4 guys? Watch this. Is that throwing your body around? Number 57, he took down 2 guys out of the wedge. A great special teams job by Robin Senline.
The Falcons are on the 25-yard line. Bartkowski, the quarterback. This is Riggs. The great rookie gets out to the 29. Charlie Johnson stopped him. 9:49. They're not using any timeouts yet. Obviously, Bennett's crew is going to perhaps need them. They trail by 2 points. They've got a field goal kicker that can kick over 50. And the time is 9:34. 9:32. Bartkowski on 2nd and 6. Bartkowski. Oh! John Swain could have ended the ball game.
A great story about number 29, John Swain there, Brookie. 2nd-year player out of Miami, Florida. He's the cornerback. John Turner, the safety, used to play cornerback. When Swain got here, they moved him to safety. But Swain is a protege of Turner. They went to high school together. They played together in high school. They played at Miami, and now they're playing for the Vikings.
We should go see a hand surgeon. I know a good one at Akron, Ohio. 3rd down and 6. Bartkowski. Quick fire. Good throw. Good catch. Look out. That's Alfred Jenkins. John Turner finally caught him. Jenkins, who used to be perhaps the fastest receiver in all of football, may have lost a step, but it's hard to tell when you're chasing him.
Once again, they worked it on number 29, John Swain. You see it from a secondary aspect and viewpoint right here. Out to the left-hand side, and Swain was off him 3 or 4 steps. Jenkins picks up extra yardage.
A very clever receiver, and he's experienced. First down on the 40. Straight ahead, Andrews. Maybe a yard. Charlie Johnson making the stop. Let's go to New York City and Brent Musburger.
Rookie Buccaneers back on the 10, and Doug Williams will pull out, and this may have turned the game completely around. Monty Hunter snaps it up, dashes in for the 19, and now the Cowboys have gone ahead 23-17. Back to Brookie.
The day has been wild and woolly, Brent. I have to agree. Luckhurst is on the sideline thinking 40-yard field goal attempt. Bartkowski back. Intended for and caught. The flags are down. They're probably going to call interference as Prepley somehow made the catch. And number 27 was laying all over him. That's Johnny Turner. Red Cashin making the calm call, the preliminary emphasis. Boy, these two teams have not backed off. It's not a classic. It's not a pure thing, but boy, it's tough. Studwell just told the Red Cashin what he thought of the call.
Holding before the pass, number 52 on the defense, first down.
Holding the quarterback.
Holding on Dennis Johnson, number 52, the inside linebacker, was the call.
First and 10 for the Falcons at the Viking 34.
Well, you can't dance with him when you're playing in that 5-yard zone. 8:29 left. First down and 10. Automatic first. Straight ahead. Viking defense playing tough. Andrews maybe gets a yard and a half or two. Remember, Luckhurst, the young man from England, has kicked 51-yard field goals, 2 of them in the same game this year. He faked one earlier and ran for it on an option play from Morosky. They're talking it over. I imagine that Luckhurst hasn't even breathed.
No matter how much confidence you have in yourself as a kicker, as I had to do it sometimes, you're always pulling for the offense to take it in and get 6.
Deliver me from evil, right? Second down. 8. The toss. Back to Riggs. Gerald Riggs cuts back inside. Good cut. Runs over people for a first down. A big first down run by Riggs.
Turner and McNeil on the top.
And the crowd gets quiet. McNeil and Turner both having to tackle this young man.
The offensive line of Atlanta have been handled fairly well today by the Minnesota Vikings defensive line, but now on this drive, they've taken charge. They have control right now of the line of scrimmage. Mike Ken that time pulled out and got a good block on the outside linebacker, Fred McNeil. That was a Springer for the first down.
It is not the first down. I'm sorry, it was my fault, Wayne. They had spotted it back near the line. It's third down and about a foot. I thought he made it rather easily.
This play will be a war.
What a tackle. What a tackle by Charlie Johnson, number 65.
Ricky, we said it would be a war before the ball was snapped.
Wow.
It was. It looked like somebody threw a hand grenade out in the middle of those 22 guys that time. The man who really made the play was the cornerback, Willie Teal. Watch him show up now, the left corner of your screen. He makes initial contact way back in the backfield and makes the back belly back so the rest of the people can get there and show up. Great team defense that time by the Vikings.
Is that some kind of hustle? Teal made him run just a little deeper than he wanted to. And the measurement is short. The English kicker will come on. Remember, Minnesota leads by 2. Or the Falcons trail by 2, depending on where you're sitting right now watching this. Here's the young man. This one will be held from the 29-yard line, a 39-yard attempt. Morosky, the backup quarterback, will be the holder. They've run fake plays today. The young man's kicked off pretty well.
And you got to keep in mind, too, that the Minnesota Vikings under Bud Grant been in this situation a lot of times where they needed a field goal block. They've been the best at it in the National Football League for the last 15 years.
The Grubbers are in there, the guys on the line of scrimmage, and the Leapers. It's off. It's a whistler. What a shot. A 41-yard field goal. And it culminates a 50-yard drive that took them 7 plays. Oh. He jolly well is glad he made that one. 24-23. 6:45 left. 6:45 left in the game. In the Metrodome, Minneapolis, 24-23, Atlanta back on top. Luckhurst, who just put the Falcons ahead, kicks off. Boy, this is a hang time of about 4 seconds. Redwine at the goal line. Jarvis Redwine is drilled at the 27. Now the Vikings have 3 timeouts, and the Falcons have 3 timeouts. This is the old ballpark out in Bloomington near the airport, where all of those great Bud Grant teams played. In fact, I played the first test game against the Cardinals out here when Van Brockman brought our bunch of crazy people up from Philadelphia. We played the Cardinals, and you know how many times you played there, Wayne.
Yeah, I've had more lumps put on me in that place than I want to think about.
Now that roof is 9.5 acres, $55 million. The people are still just as fun-loving about football as ever. First and 10 on the 28. Inside fake to Brown. Kramer reloads it and hits Ricky Young. The linebacker grabbed him. Joel Williams. Interference on Joel Williams. Did you see him try to put his hand away like I really didn't grab him?
Oh, what a tough job for a linebacker. They have to cover it back that far downfield.
Offensive line protecting Kramer beyond the call of normalcy.
Defensive interference. Number 58, first down.
Looked like he reloaded 3 or 4 times.
He did extremely tough. Over on the right-hand side now is number 58, Joel Williams. What makes it double tough, it was play action, which will freeze you for a count or 2. He was running in pretty good shape. It wasn't real flagrant, but it was called.
Just into Atlanta territory, the toss. Back to Nelson. Nelson breaks a tackle and bounces to the 42-yard line. Richardson making the tackle there. Nelson looks like he's pretty strong. He's very deceptive, huh?
He's extremely strong, especially in the legs. Probably about 185 pounds, but I know he leg presses like about 350. You know he's got strong legs. He long jumped 26 feet in college.
He could be the player of the 80s who's going to be built along these lines. Somebody short and can take...
They drafted him because they like him in this building on this carpet.
Jerry Reichow, who runs that part of the operation, said that's the guy that's going to lead us later. Here's the quick draw to Galbraith. Tony gets inside the 40, but not much. Perko makes the tackle. 5:41 left in the 4th and final quarter of this crazy first playoff game. I wonder if the NFL is going to go with this playoff system since it's gotten so much attention.
It's got these people up here in Minnesota excited, I'll tell you that. There was some thought at the beginning of the year when they moved inside that the crowd was perhaps somewhat apathetic and didn't get as wound up as they did out at Old Met, but boy, you couldn't tell by that the last couple of weeks here.
5.5 minutes. Remember, the Vikings still have 3 timeouts, but they trail.
First and 10 for the Vikings.
41-yard field goal by Luckhurst. Put them in the lead by 1 minute. First and 10. Kramer, the ball is knocked. The ball deflected. Looked like Joe Williams might have been coming from the outside.
The line is incomplete.
Don't forget, 60 minutes following this football game, except on the West Coast. But you will see it in its entirety, the big show that we like here on CBS so much. I tape it and go over it with a fine-tooth comb when I get a chance to sit down. This game is going to go down to the final tick of the clock. 5:17 left. 39-yard line. Second down, 10. Shotgun. A lot of time. Kramer with a lot of time. Hits Terry LeCount. LeCount makes the catch at the 20-yard line. And I don't know how he maintained control of the ball.
Started with the job up front off the shotgun. Good protection now for Kramer. He's got all day to look around. Nobody even forcing him at all. LeCount juggles it a little bit here. Gets a big hit from number 27, Tommy Pridemore, then hangs on. Watch him make the turn. Doesn't quite have control. Here comes the hit from the safety, but he still managed it.
And Terry's always played well in large games, whether it's against San Diego or whomever.
He was a 49er draft choice, picked up from them on waivers.
First down at the 20-yard line. The reverse misdirection play to Teddy Brown. He's caught. Brown pull down at the 28-yard line as Jeff Murrow makes an outstanding defensive stop.
Jackie, I don't know whether there was some confusion there on Ted Brown's part or whether someone didn't get downfield. That almost looked like it might have been a halfback option play, and there was no one downfield, but it was a swarming Atlanta defense at any rate. Let's watch it here. The guys in the white shirts show up, and they get there very quickly. Now look at this. He bellied back a little bit like he was looking downfield for someone, but no one was there. They had guards pulling, so I don't think it was a halfback option because there was a guard out there in the flat.
Murrow might have been looking for something coming back his way late. Made a good defensive play. Here's Kramer. Second down and 17. Inside handoff. Brown gets inside the 20 to the 17 on a quick opener. Tommy Pridemore finally stopping him. There's your time left. 3 timeouts still left for Minnesota.
A battle of wits going on both sidelines. Atlanta expecting pass. Minnesota crosses them up with the run. You're Ted Brown. You're right behind him. Look at the hole.
That bunch up front did some job blocking, too. They caved everybody in. Ted Brown, who left and was administered 8-2 on the sidelines. He's very much alive. Third down. 6 on the 16. The toss back to Brown. Brown behind a good block. Brown gets to the 5-yard line. Lehman Bennett, his face tells you the story. Hamilton got pulled out and got some block, number 61 for Teddy Brown.
Rookie, this is reminiscent of the drive the 49ers made against Dallas in the NFC Championship game last year. When Dallas was expecting pass, the Niners ran. Minnesota's done it twice in a row right here to Atlanta.
The signs and the action in this stadium, it's unbelievable. They have not stopped yelling since before the kickoff. First and goal from the 6. Quick start. Brown gets to about the 4. Not much. Atlanta didn't give up anything then. Maybe a yard. Fulton Kuykendall, first contact, and Laughlin. Timeouts burned. Remaining. I guess they did not burn the timeout. The official must have called the timeout. Clock is still going down. They'll steal the 2-minute warning timeout. And of course, the Falcons must use all 3 of theirs. That's what Lehman Bennett's thinking. What can we get out of here with? Kramer's thinking, what's the one call that'll win this? Wow. 24 to Atlanta. They're most successful. Inside play. Ricky Young barely gets to the 5-yard line. I don't even know if he got to the line of scrimmage.
No, it wasn't. It was Big Yates, Jeff Yates, who came down and made a great hit back in the backfield.
Remember, everybody at this time of the year, even if it's a shortened season or what, they're playing hurt. Yates has a tremendously bruised thigh. Kramer's probably got something wrong with him, but they don't even tell us. Everybody's carrying a nick, but you got a long time to get well and a lot of money to do with if you keep winning.
I'll tell you, neither one of these teams has backed off an inch today. We talked at the top of the show about defense and hitting, and we've seen a lot of it out here.
The coaching staff over there, they're all getting together for, looks like Bud Grant's going to let Shively and that group run the offense. Jerry Burns is upstairs.
You noticed that with him at practice the other day. He lets the assistant coaches do the coaching. Once in a while, he'll step in with a comment. And it's certainly been successful for Bud Grant and people in purple up here throughout the years.
I looked out his window and saw a deer feeder out by the practice field. I thought I was somewhere on another planet. That's the reason he's weathered through so many storms. Quote and unquote. Boy, this crowd. Sounds like the UCLA card section of it.
A third down play here now, Tommy. I know Atlanta on defense. You have to play single coverage basically down here. I know on defense they're telling each other, let's hang on to those receivers. Let's bump those receivers.
3 tight ends. Tight formation. Hand off to Brown. Same spot. Brown outside. And went out to Teddy Brown. There's Dan Meyer's kick. And the crowd sits back for the first time. But all the people in purple ran out to see their guys.
Brown got the touchdown, but I want you to look at the lead block by number 34, Ricky Young, out here on the cornerback Johnson. You'll see him on the ground. Number 34 put him there, and that was the block that got Brown in the end zone.
The Falcons have 1:44 left and 3 timeouts. They trail by 6. I think the cheering tells you the story. That is for their team and for Ted Brown. Now, the Falcons have 2 timeouts. I was right the first time. And they've got a great quarterback. So hang in there. Here's Dan Meyer's kick. It's going to be short. That's Reggie Brown to 10. Reggie Brown breaks out to the 29-yard line. Good run back. And a few scuffles break out. Holloway made another tackle.
That helps Atlanta a lot to get it out to the 30-yard line and give them some room to work with.
Remember, they have one of these slingshots of all time. The flamethrower is number 10, Bartkowski, out of California. He was so good that Vince Ferragamo left California and went to Nebraska. This guy can play. And he stands in the pocket now. And he's got one of the best offensive lines in football.
It's a 4-man front, a 4-man rush for the Vikings. Number 77, Mark Mullaney got back. Big pressure on Bartkowski. You don't have to sack the quarterback to bother him. If you get penetration, get back in his face, throw your hand up. He has to throw around your arms. That's what happened that time. Bartkowski didn't have a passing lane because of the penetration by number 77.
What a great job he's done since they moved him to the weak side and put Martin at the strong side. The right defensive end is where Mullaney should be playing. He's very good there. Second down 10. Bartkowski with time. Goes outside. I believe it's Lynn Kane, number 21. Gets the first down, but he does not get out of bounds. Let's go to New York City now, where Brent Musburger has an update.
Quickly, Brooks is starting to salt them away. Danny White's going to go to Timmy Newsom here. It's 30-17 after the extra point. Back to Tom Brookshire.
Okay, Brent. There are 3 flags down on the field now, and the Zebras will get together and make the call. Oh, here's old Moosehead up here with us now. Illegal procedure called against the Atlanta offense.
Atlanta was, excuse me, Brookie, while we were gone, Atlanta lined up for a quick snap because they didn't want to use a timeout. Somebody was quick setting up.
Number 66 on the offense. It's still first down.
But they still have 2 timeouts, and the 5 yards might not be the most expensive thing you could give up, huh?
There's the play right there.
But they got the clock stopped. You're right. Wildcard being chased. Intercepted. Johnny Turner. Tell a story.
John Turner with his second interception of the ball game for Minnesota puts the stops right here on the Atlanta Falcons and Steve Bartkowski. Pressure again. The ball just a touch underthrown, but Turner made a bold move for it by cutting in front. And they're celebrating here at the Metrodome.
I've never seen this emotional outburst any more than this ever here.
Ford and Lincoln.
Some got to win, some got to lose. Boy, it's tough in this league. But I'll tell you one thing, the Falcons have not backed off an inch. And this Viking defense, if they've ever played better football around here, even with Carl Eller and the great people that we know, by golly, I haven't seen them play any better team defense than this.
Certainly haven't seen them play with any more emotion.
Good point. And now, to finish off 57 seconds. Remember, next week's game is worth $10,000. Don't mean to sound like it's a $64 question, but in the Minnesota dressing room the other day, they had a thing that says if you win them all, the next 4 in a row, $70,000 will fall out of your sock. That's not bad. Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes. Archie Bunker's Place, Gloria, the Jeffersons, and thank heavens they brought Alice back. I do love that lady. And Trapper John, M.D.
I know you like those Dr. Phils.
They love
they used to call you Dr. Feelgood.
Dr. Feelgood. Tonight on CBS, Atlanta with 1 timeout left. It won't mean much. And don't think playing at home, that home field advantage, that beating the Dallas Cowboys didn't help. Because this crowd is crazy, and they love this team. And they bought tickets to come and see number 9, and number 23, and number 81, and number 78. Out of timeouts. We'd like to thank our executive producer, Terry O'Neill, for allowing us to work this crazy strike season. Wayne, it's been a pleasure. Senior producer Charles H. Milton III, who swung through here last night. Nice to see him. Michael Burks is the greatest producer I guess that's ever lived, at least in our opinion. Directed by Peter Blechter. The man that we say gives you all those great pictures. Bob Matina, Lance Barrow, who drives the runaway car for us and gets us home at night. Frankie Chikinian Jr. And all of those at CBS that put in what is really the best. Lou Scannon, all of you people. Cunningham and Fairman. Tommy Jimenez and Freddie Lopez, in 31 seconds, they can't stop it now. William Nader Sr. and Georgie Bergulis. And it's really been fun. Hear those horns? Hear those horns blowing? Well, all these pictures have been brought to you by our camera people. And boy, they work 10 hours for every 30 minutes we're on the air. What was this timeout called?
I don't know. That was one of the strangest timeouts of all time, though.
You can't believe those offensive linemen say, come on, let's get this thing over with. We've been out here for 3 hours, and you're calling that timeout? This guy's really matured, though, you know. I mean, marriage will do that for you. It ages you a little bit, but he really carries himself differently.
Well, he's a fine young man and has handled every situation he's been involved in extremely well. Had a great future ahead of him. Here was the sealing play right here for the Minnesota Vikings. The interception by John Turner. But once again, look at the surge from up front by the Vikings. Bartkowski has to throw a little bit off balance with his weight back on his heel a little bit. That caused him to underthrow and not get on the ball as much as he wanted. Turner makes it. A little premature celebration there before he went down. But, hey, listen, he got a long time to celebrate this one.
You know, in our days, this team all came out on the field. In our day, our team, they didn't care, could have cared less about congratulating you, right?
Well, I know. I learned at a real early age that if you went over and congratulated a guy after an interception or something, you got your picture on television. So.
Yeah, but you played 15 years. You were never on that ground with an injury timeout. It's been a lot of fun, though, with two defensive people in the booth. We've given the officials all they can handle all year, and that's all right, too. Greg Coleman is now in to punt. That's what the decision was. Do we kick it or not? Bud Grant's thinking about the Canadian geese. Billy Johnson is back. 10 seconds left. Will Coleman run around and take 5 seconds, or will he go ahead and kick it? He had one block for a touchdown, you know. And boy, the Falcons are coming. It's a good punt here. Billy Johnson at the 9. Billy Johnson going out of bounds at the 12, and that's it. It was a great football game, and it's been a pleasure. The final score was Minnesota 30, Atlanta 24. This is Tom Brookshire for Wayne Walker saying so long and have fun. Will you play fair?